fast forward while I watch my patience run. Now my favorite days have come. We waited 10 long months. Now we're finally here. This is our special place where we can be ourselves with no fear. We waited 10 long months. Now we're finally here. We can love all our friends without no fears. This one's for you and you and you and you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you and you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you and you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you. I promise you this place is magic, and the love that we feel is so massive. But when the buses roll up and my friends show up, I get so excited I can hear the backflip. Pizza lunch, once you go and drop your bags off. Let's go to Rock Band so I can get some tracks off. All over the globe is where y'all live, and now we're better for having been. We waited 10 long months. Now we're finally here. This is our special place where we can be ourselves with no fear. We waited 10 long months. Now we're finally here. We can love all our friends without no fears. This one's for you and you and you and you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you and you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you and you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you.
This one's for you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you. And you and you and you. This one's for you and you and you. You and you and you. And you. Yeah. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Toronto, Miami, yeah.
Strong enough for the pain, yeah.
I am not the one choosing, but if he belongs with me forever, then put him in a box and send away. Miami in big letters on the side. I'm not trying to have this talk again. I don't wanna dream forever. And when I wake up, you better send my baby, and I'll be good now, please. If he's the one that gets my wish, tell him he's my lucky baby. If he's the one that gets my wish, I'll be his lucky lady. If he's the one that gets my wish, then tell him he's my lucky baby. If he's the one that gets my wish, I will be the world's luckiest lady. You're the one I wanna love. Santa, won't you bring me everything that I need now? Promise I'll be good, I promise I'll be grateful. Yeah, I will go the extra mile and even turn the tables. Yeah, yeah. We can build a house made of candy or a house made of snow. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean, no, no. We can build a house made of candy or we can build a house made of snow. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean, no, no. he belongs with me forever, then put him in a box and send away. Miami in big letters on the side. I know I'm not supposed to talk pretend. Please don't make me dream forever. When I wake up, I better see my baby. Santa, I'll be good now, please.
Hey, babe, I just wanna know what you think about me when the summer's over. Hey, yeah, it's been a blast. I still remember even after October. And when the winter falls, just think about me and I'll keep you warm. Seasons have changed, I still remain with thoughts of you. And I'm just not the same, I admit, like autumn. I'm falling for you. Wait, I don't wanna go. Time goes flying when you're wrapped in the moment. One more night, just follow me home. Tell me about all of your dreams. Just wanna know you. Let's pretend like the world ends today, 'cause tomorrow you'll be miles away. Seasons have changed, I still remain with thoughts of you. And I'm just not the same, I admit, like autumn. I'm falling for you. I'll be waiting till the day you come back my way. I'll be counting every minute to see your face. I'll be waiting till the day you come back my way. I'll be counting every minute, 'cause though seasons have changed, oh, I still remain. And though seasons have changed, I still remain with thoughts of you. And I'm just not the same, I admit, like autumn. I'm falling for you. Seasons have changed, I still remain with thoughts of you. Thoughts of you. And I'm just not the same, I admit, like
ASL 시즌 10 타임리스.
What's up, everybody? ASL is finally back. Season 10 starts now.
Oh my god, this is completely hype. I cannot wait. Probably the most exciting season to date.
I think so. StarCraft's in a very good place. Of course, we can't have audiences here at our new studio in Jamshil, but we can still be broadcasting these games. And we had a little bit of downtime with StarCraft 1 here, between Season 9 and Season 10.
Yep.
Before we go any further, though, we're going to introduce our CEO. That's Kevin, the leader of AfreecaTV. In the interview, he says hello to him. Master Park says it's ASL Season 10. This is a dream stage for our amateur players.
ASL 시작하면서 벌써 이제 횟수로 5년.
Yes, since starting ASL, it's been our 5th year and our 10th season.
우리 ASL이
More than anything else,
후원해 주시는 LG 게이밍 모니터, 울트라 기어 그리고
I would like to thank our sponsors who make events like this possible.
그리고 또 ASL 시즌 10이니까 지금 10호 태풍이
Also, thanks to Hot 6 and Ultra Gears.
태풍이 우리 땅에 안 오고 저 멀리 바다로 가게 그런 우리
Now we're here in season 10. There's been a big storm coming through through Korea lately. We're in a very hot season here.
못하고 했다고 태무자고 하지 말고.
And since we're here at season 10, I want to say,
그냥 금치고로 설정을 할까? 칭찬을 하고 박수를 치고.
please keep supporting us.
그런 ASL 시즌 10이 됐으면 좋겠습니다. 고맙습니다.
Please keep supporting ASL. Don't complain about the games. I guess people are complaining on the internet. I'm not sure the context of this, but give us your positivity, give us your love. All right, they're going to announce season 10 together. This is like casting a spell, Artosis. Let's do it too. We're starting the season now. Wait. Now.
You jumped the gun.
I messed it up. We got to cancel the show now. Okay. Thank you again, Kevin, for supporting StarCraft, for supporting esports. Look at this beautiful,
dude. They really
completely empty studio. Yeah, we got screens on the pillars. Do your pillars have screens?
You probably don't even have a studio with pillars in it.
AfreecaTV StarCraft 리더. 그리고 2020년 9월 ASL 시즌 10 타임리스. ASL 시즌 10 게임 준비 완료.
Timeless, you mean tasteless, right? Did they forget my name?
핫식스 아프리카TV 콜로세움.
One day you'll be able to be in this studio.
환영합니다.
Once we're out, once the apocalypse is finished.
Yeah.
It's been rough, man. No gatherings right now. We're in level 2.5, and there's been lots of hurricanes hitting Korea. Times are tough. Anyways, we're going to go into the pre-show now, where Young is going to interview our 4 players. She says, hello, everybody. This is Young. We've started. We actually started ASL in 2016 in July. We've been receiving a lot of love from fans. Last season we saw Queen become the champion. Who will be our next champion?
오늘 경기를 준비하고 있는 4명의 선수와 이야기 나눠보겠습니다.
All right, let's meet our 4 players now.
안녕하세요.
네, 이영환 선수,
Hello, everybody.
김태경 선수, 신상문 선수, 정영재 선수 나와주셨습니다. 먼저 김태경 선수와 좀
We
인사를
have Shine, Bisu,
나눠보겠습니다.
Leda, and
안녕하세요.
JYJ.
네, 안녕하세요. 반갑습니다.
Let's go to you first, Bisu. Hello.
이번 시즌 본선에 합류하기 김태경 선수 정말 힘들었습니다. 그렇죠?
아니 손 좀 풀었어요.
So you had to go through a lot of qualifiers to get here.
네, 뭐
You've certainly.
손 좀 풀려고 했는데.
No, I was just getting my hands warmed up, actually.
풀게 되더라고요. 또 뭔가 마지막 그 부산 예선까지
No, I
가니까
didn't expect I'd have to warm my hands up that much though in the qualifiers before I managed to get here.
했어요. 아 이거 진짜 떨어져도 그냥.
When I had day 3,
해보자 그런 생각했는데
네.
오히려
I actually stopped everything. I had to
잘 되는 것 같더라고요.
use 100% of my brain to focus in, and I managed to qualify then.
아무래도 2일차 예선까지
I think I'm just going to keep that in
결승에서
mind
탈락을 해서 김태경 선수는
and play the round of 24 matches today.
않았을까 하는 생각도 드는데 본선에 합류하고 나서 딱 A조 조편성을 봤을 때는 좀 어떤 생각이
After you
드셨나요?
joined the main stage, what was going through your mind?
부커조라고.
네.
아 저는 근데 오히려 이런
A lot of people are saying that this is quite an easy group.
힘들고요.
And
but
personally, I feel like situations like this actually put much more pressure on me. I sometimes almost prefer to have a much stronger opponent.
그래도 뭐 24강은 그래도 많이 뚫어봤기 때문에
네.
자신 있습니다.
손도 충분히 풀었고 조편성도
He says, anyways, I always make it to the round of 24, so I'm pretty confident anyways.
김태경 선수인데요. 오랜만에 또 이렇게 ASL에 인사를 드리게 된 신상문
So
선수와
you seems like
인사를
you're confident, you're warmed
나눠보겠습니다.
up.
안녕하세요.
Let's go to your opponent, Leda.
거의 10시즌 만에 5년여 만에 또 오프라인 경기를 앞두고 계십니다. 감회가 참 남다르실 것
So you
같은데요.
participated in
어떠세요?
the ASL Open season.
이렇게 ASL에
How do you feel being here today?
재밌을 것 같아요.
Yes, I've made it.
이제
I'm pretty excited.
같이
I think this is going to be a fun day today.
형이랑 같이 또 첫 번째 경기를 하게 돼서
Also,
네.
너무나 기쁩니다.
I'll be facing off against
하지만
Bisu.
신성훈 선수 예선도 참 쉽지만은
He's
않았습니다.
been a long-time friend of mine.
3일차 경기를 통해서
So I'm
본선에
excited to have a
합류한
game
신성훈
against
선수인데요. 당시에
So your qualifier
결승
wasn't easy at
상대가
all.
김윤환 선수였죠. 좀 결승을
네.
앞두고는 어떤 생각이 좀 드셨나요?
You actually also qualified through day 3.
승다는 마음으로
And your last
네.
opponent was Calm.
이제 3일차
How was that
됐는데,
final match against Calm?
손이 깔끔하게 풀려서
I would
이제
say I
이상하게
just had to get my hands warmed up.
그럼 지금의 컨디션이
And I think I'm warmed up enough.
다가왔다고 좀 봐도 될까요?
That it worked.
오, 정말 기대가 되는데요. 또 이 선수 역시 ASL보다 정말
So are you saying you're in peak
오랜만에
condition right now?
찾아오신 분입니다.
Says, yeah, you could say
이영환
that.
선수 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
But we also have Shine over here.
ASL 이후에 거의 2년여 만에 또 경기를 앞두고 계십니다.
So after ASL season
일하러
6,
왔을 때랑 또 경기를 앞두고 왔을 때
We didn't see you for a few
경기장에 오는
seasons.
기분이 좀 다르실 것 같아요.
아, 네, 여기 콜로세움을 일하러 몇 번 왔는데
It must feel different coming back, coming to a new studio.
많이 달랐어요. 오늘 경기한다고 생각하니까 이제 집에서
Yeah, I
출발할
do
때부터
work
좀 많이 긴장되고
at the company. This is also the GSL Observer, by the way, guys. But now I'm coming here to the studio as a player. So I'm excited, but I'm also a little bit nervous.
오늘은 또 이영원 선수가 어떤 참신한 플레이를
A lot of people are
준비해
impressed by your
왔을지
play style. It's
기대를 하고
very
계시거든요. 아무래도
strategic and
경기장에 올 때
unique.
기대를 했던 이유는 그런 준비한
So
전략
I think a lot of
때문일까요?
people are curious to see what kind of builds you're going to be bringing here today. Do you have anything special prepared?
예전에 되게 크게 활약했던 이제 태경이 형이라든지 상문 형이라든지 다 색깔이 뚜렷하기 때문에 오늘 좀
Well,
그런
in my
부분에
groups,
있어서
there's
좀
Bisu.
준비를 많이 했고요. 좀 그래서 좀 기대되는 부분도 많은
And
것 같아요.
the other players also have a very unique play style as well. So it's going to be pretty tricky.
눈빛이 약간 달라졌습니다.
He's basically not
정영재
answering
선수와도 마지막으로 인사를 좀 나눠볼게요. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
네,
JYJ,
시즌
hello to you.
시즌을 시작으로
Hello.
지금 4시즌 연속 또 본선에
So,
합류하고 계십니다.
Since
이제
ASL
경기장이
season 7,
긴장되거나 하지는 않으실 것 같아요.
this has been your 4th consecutive ASL season.
광탈했던 것 같아요.
You're becoming a regular here on the show.
오늘은 또 지난 시즌과 좀 다른 느낌이
Yeah, he says, but
드시나요?
every season I've been so nervous when I play.
오늘은 약간
Well, how do you feel now then?
언제까지 떨어지나 한번 보려고 약간 편한 마음을 먹고 왔거든요.
오히려
별로
본인과의
I'm just
싸움을
trying to
하기
focus in
위해서
Not be
또
nervous
가까이
and
계신
do what I
트레이너님이
practice.
참 응원을 많이
and just have a
해주시잖아요,
good
방송을
performance.
통해서도. 가장 좀 힘이 됐던 얘기가 있나요?
So your girlfriend's been very supportive of you.
생각만
Did she have any
해도 웃음이
special
절로
words for you
나와요.
before
그 힘이 되는 말이 어떤 건지
you came to the
궁금한데요.
studio?
네, 딱히 없고요. 그냥
She says thinking about her makes you laugh. He says no, no, no.
그
She just says, hey, play your best. Good luck.
자, A조 경기를 앞두고 많은 분들이 참 많은 평가를 해주셨는데요. A조의 1티어인
Before we start the
김태경
match.
선수 분명 강한 선수인 것은 맞는데 최강인지는 잘 모르겠다. 1티어 중에서 할 만한 것 같다는 이야기가
In this group, a lot of people are saying
있었습니다.
Bisu is the tier 1 player.
살짝 상처가 될 만한 이야기인데 다른 선수들의 생각은 또 어떤지도 궁금하거든요. 정영재 선수.
But
이
some people are
얘기에
saying
대한 좀
objectively,
본인의 생각은 어떠세요?
Bisu's not as strong as other tier 1 players right now. What would you say to a comment like
일단
that?
저희도 자체가 다들 게임량이 적기 때문에
네.
그래서 약해 보이지 않나. 제 생각은 그렇습니다.
When we look at Group A
정영재 선수가
players,
생각하기에 오늘 1위 진출, 2위
I would
진출
say that our
기대될 것
practice
같다.
hours are not as
지금
high as some of the other
시나리오가
players.
써지는 게 있나요?
그래도
So who actually advances then?
2등은 뭐 영환이 형
Well, I think Bisu first.
신상훈 선수는 그러면
Second is
최강은
Shine or
아닌 것
later.
같다.
Okay, so he's just voted himself out there.
최강은 아닌 것 같다. 이런 얘기에 대한 생각이 좀 어떠세요?
어떤 거요?
김태경 선수가 1티어인 것을
Later, what's your take on that?
최강인 것을
People
잘
say Bisu's not
모르겠다라고
tier 1.
이야기하는 사람들이 있거든요.
예, 그렇죠. 많이 있죠. 네. 뭐 예전으로 따지면 저도 1티어입니다. 예.
I understand why they say that.
네.
많이 흘렀어요, 진짜.
But-
김태경 선수 마스크 안에 얼굴이 점차 붉어지고 있는 것 같습니다.
I would say Bisu's not like the
하고
Bisu we've
싶은
known
이야기가
before.
있으실 것 같아요.
근데 성문이가 뭐
Bisu, do you have anything you want to respond with?
지금 성문이랑 저랑은 또 달라요.
오.
저는 그래도 1티어
Well, he's saying I'm an old tier 1 player.
성문이는 4티어인가 5티어에서도 그 5, 6등이
funny, it's coming from Leda.
갭이 큽니다.
지금
At least I've been tier 1.
경기 전부터
This guy's
신경전이
tier 2 or maybe tier 5.
선수가 굉장히
He's not even on a level to
모습으로
evaluate me.
두 분의 신경전을 지켜보고 계셨습니다. 어떤 생각을 하고 계시나요?
아 근데 사실 티어표를 쭉 보니까 이제
Shine, what were you
제가
thinking when
티어는
hearing people
좀 수월한 편이고
saying that about
상문형도
Bisu's tier?
4티어에서 수월하더라고요. 그래가지고 보니까
I'd say I'm tier 2.
와 이게 1, 2, 4티어에서 가장 좀 수월한 사람들끼리 모여 있어가지고 사실 오늘은 다 속으로는 내가 2승 진출하겠구나 다
I
생각.
think this is a group where we're all the
어제
weakest in our
장윤철
respective tiers.
김태경 선수가 1위로 올라갈 확률을 거의 100%로
So he says even if I'm a tier 4 player, I'm probably easier than the other tier 4
players.
players.
일단 첫 경기 이기면 저는 올라갈 것 같긴 해요.
So Bisu, a lot of people are still saying you're going to get out first.
지면 저도
What is your take?
무서워요.
I think if I win the first game,
영환이도
yeah,
있고
I think I'll get out to the round of 16 first.
때문에
Let's say I lose the match.
가면 좀 저도 헷갈리네요.
I'm actually not sure.
신상문 선수를 무조건 이기겠다라는 마인드로 오셨겠네요. 그러면
상문이를 무조건 잡아야지.
Since we've got Shine and JYJ.
팬들이 또 질문을 보내주셨는데요. 김태경 선수 예선에서 다승 왕을
So you're just confident that you
차지하셨는데
won't lose against Leda? He says, yeah, I can take Leda out easily.
자리를 차지할 수 있을까요? 라는 질문을 올려주셨어요. 본선에서 다승 왕이면 우승이거든요.
그렇죠.
네, 응원하는 마음으로 좀 주신 질문인 것 같은데 자신 있으신가요?
일단 예선에서 다승왕하면서 폰이 잘 풀렸습니다, 진짜. 그러면서 지금 최근에 기세가 굉장히 좋아요.
I actually missed part of that, guys. Excuse me. Yes, I actually feel that if I can go through all the matches,
진짜 잘할 것 같거든요. 16강만 가면.
16강만 가면
I've had a lot of practice matches.
그거는 아니고 그
And I'm very confident I make it to the round of 16. I can make it deep. So if you make it to the round of 16, you think you can win a championship? No, not exactly like that.
김태경 선수네요.
네, 최호선이 자꾸 뭐 A조 진짜 뭐 부커주다 이런 말 하는데 진짜 맞붙어 보고 싶어요.
I think I can make it far. Let's just put it like that.
질문을 좀 드려보겠습니다. ASL에 출전하는 대회 기간 동안에는 금주하실 생각이 있냐고도 질문을
So Leda, while you're playing in the ASL,
잘 해줬으면 하는
will you
마음에서 보내주신
abstain from
질문인데요.
drinking alcohol?
저 같은 경우에는 이제
Your fans want you to be
해야 좀 잘 돼요.
focused on practicing.
근데 한 잔만 하시는 건 아니죠.
No, personally, I need alcohol. That boosts my strength.
한 병이요? 네.
Helps me focus more, so I don't think I can do that.
그런 거 너무 걱정 안 하셔도 됩니다. 저는 프로입니다.
One cup of alcohol helps, so guys, don't worry about me. I'm a pro player.
항상 관리하고 있습니다. 저는. 걱정하지 마세요.
Any pro player knows what they need for their condition, so don't worry about it.
어떤
JYJ, why are you laughing so much?
지어지시던가요?
원래 보통 뭔가 경기 전에 안
Well,
먹잖아요. 근데 적당히 먹겠다고 하는 게 너무 웃긴.
usually pro players don't drink that much.
자, 이영환 선수에게도 팬분이 보내주신 질문을 좀 전달해
So that's why I'm
드리겠습니다. 항상 매 시즌마다 준비된 빌드 보따리가 있다는 이야기를 하고 또 충전한다는 제목으로 방송을 또 하셨잖아요. 이번에는
Your nickname has been Bag of Builds.
그만 보고 싶다고. 이영환 선수의 동생인
Have you been able to
이슬님께서 글을
recharge your build? Do you have anything new?
남겨주셨습니다. 동생의 묵직한 팩트에 대해서 어떻게 생각하세요?
I don't want to hear that meme anymore.
말문이 막혀가지고 지금.
So what do you think about my comments then?
빌드를 좀 많이 생각을 해요. 왜냐면은
I don't know what to say.
시작될 때마다 새로운 맵들이 많이 나오니까.
Yeah, I've got a lot of builds.
맵에서 활용할 수 있는 전략들을 좀 많이 생각하는데.
Whenever we have a new season, we have new maps.
블룸이라는 좀 되게 특이한 맵이
I'm always thinking about what I can do.
선보이는 첫 번째 경기이기 때문에 좀 기대를 많이 하고 있어요.
So this season we have Ringing Bloom as one of the new maps.
아무래도 경기를
So I prepped really hard.
할 정영재 선수 입장에서 이영환 선수가 참 부담일 것 같은데요.
I'm really excited to show what I can do.
선수. 그래도 24강에서
JYJ?
여러 번 탈락했으니까 이번에는 꼭 16강에 좀 가고 싶은 마음이 크실 텐데요. 비장의 무기가
Even if this is your fourth consecutive ASL, you usually get eliminated pretty quickly. Do you have anything unique or special prepared for today to get to the round of 16? Oh, like I said, I think I got to get in the right mindset. I think if I play with a comfortable mindset,
나와의 싸움을
everything else will fall into place.
라는 각오로 오셨군요.
그래서 준비도 되게 편하게 했던 것 같아요. 그래서.
And then we'll just see how far I can go.
그러면 신상문 선수, 김태경 선수, 이영환 선수의 각오를 좀 들어보고 인터뷰는 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. 신상문 선수 각오 한 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
꼭 2승으로 올라가겠습니다.
Any words before we start later?
네, 김태경 선수 한 말씀 부탁드립니다.
I'm making it to the round of 16.
네, 저도 이제
Bisu?
어느새 예선 뚫고 이제 진짜 힘들게 올라왔는데 그만큼 또 열심히 준비했고요. 오늘 기대해 주셔서
I really had a hard time trying to make it to the main stage this season.
네, 기대하겠습니다.
But since that was hard for me, I want you guys to know I doubled down on my prep, and I'm eager to advance today. Shine, any final words?
하고 가겠습니다.
네, 네 분 모두 좋은 경기력 기대하겠고요.
It's good to be back in the ASL again. I'm going to do my best to make it to the round of 16.
네, LG 울트라기와
That does it for the interview, guys.
ASL 시즌 10.
Let me tell you something, man. Those later thighs. Damn. Those are some powerful gamer legs, Artosis.
Well, he needs to be able to jump high.
Yeah, of course. Guys, we're finally back. Thank God. It's good to be casting some StarCraft 1 again. We've got some new maps we'll be unpacking for you as the games get loaded up here. But it's best of ones for today.
Yeah. Please, by the way, spread the word that ASL is on. It's the first day back. It's been a long time, and this is going to be a great season. We have some really interesting maps, like you mentioned, and like the player lineup couldn't really be better than it is.
Yeah, and I think today is going to be a lot of fun. I think Bisu should advance, but best of one can be pretty unforgiving. Sometimes something goes terribly wrong, and you could just be killed.
I think if this was best of fives, it would be Bisu first place pretty easily, JYJ second place pretty easily. But best of one, that's like Leda and Shine territory.
I think especially with Shine.
Yeah.
You know, Shine is every Terran and Protoss player's early game to mid game nightmare. Like he's someone who'll
tricky, man.
He'll do a lot of weird drops. He'll do unusual tech patterns. He knows how to all in and end the game. And not just like a Hydra bust all in. I'm talking like very abstract, weird stuff. And I mean, this guy's been in the ASL finals before. I mean, he's a great player.
He is.
And it's because even though he can play really strong macro play, very textbook play, he's capable of doing very unpredictable stuff that can just rob you of a game.
Absolutely. So take a look here, right? This is our prize pool. The dates, of course, up top. You can see the dates that we're playing through. 10 million won for first place, or as second place, 30 for first. That's approximately the same in USD. It's like, what, $27,000?
It's $1 million billion.
$1 billion.
Yep.
Yeah, so our new maps are Ringing Bloom and Shakura's Temple. And then we have Benzene, Plasma, and Optimizer as kind of some strange maps. And then the latter maps are Sylphid and Polypoid.
Yes.
So it's a very interesting, especially Bloom and Optimizer are really different maps. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Also, I'm very excited to have the latter maps that we have here, because I think both Polypoid and Neo Sylphid are great maps.
Yeah, they're
made
very,
for some very good games. We don't always end up with awesome ladder maps, but these are some of the best maps to come out in a while.
Yeah, I think everyone agrees that Sylphid's the best 3-player map ever and one of the best maps ever. And I've been saying it a lot lately. I think Polypoid's one of the best 4-player maps ever. It gives a lot of dynamic games. It's a very cool map.
And I think it's probably the best huge map.
Yeah,
Would you agree with that?
It's pretty big. Yeah, I like it. As far as 4-player maps go, it's my favorite right now. Like, it's not even necessarily the best. I'm a Terran player. It's not the best for Terran. Like, Circuit Breakers is a bit better, but I think it's much more interesting. It gives a lot of variety in the games that it gives.
Yeah, the architecture of the map is really cool. So as you can see, guys, here's our lineup for the round of 24 players.
Yeah, and you can see that it is a ridiculously strong lineup that we have here. You might be looking at some of these names and wondering who they are. There's a lot of people returning. Royal that you see up in the Terrans, it's actually Sorry. He's changed his ID, of course, because he was getting popular. You don't want to get too popular before changing your ID.
By the way.
Then we also have Yoon joining us as well, who won ACS. He did end up qualifying, so that's super cool to see.
By the way, guys, Flash over here in the round of 16 seeds with a letter R, because this is going to be the first official tournament where he will be playing random.
Yeah.
We did have the esports night, or 10, that Artosis and I casted a few weeks ago. But Artosis, let's be blunt. Flash did not succeed in the way that we were kind of hoping to. He won games with Terran.
Sure.
When he drew Terran, he actually lost a game with Terran as well when he drew Terran. He doesn't appear to be in the form where you can win an ASL with random yet, but we'll see. Flash adapts very quickly. He's a master at learning. And, you know, in the weeks to come, when we finally get to that point, I'm super excited. I'm super hyped to see how Flash is going to perform.
It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, that's kind of the talk of the season. But here are the groups as well. Some really cool groups. One note is that we don't have a broadcast on Tuesday this week. Instead, it's going to be after GSL on Saturday.
That's right. So you can join us for that, and then we will literally, as we finish the show, everybody gets on the train and goes to the other studio, and we cast that there. So you're going to have StarCraft, a lot of it, on that day. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So, you know, as was mentioned before, this is our matchup here today. Again, Bisu is supposed to get out first, but we do have upsets happen. This is a best of one. Leda has a very weird play style. We'll see if he uses that today here. Shine is the player that he actually could get out first here. I'm not joking. He's very...
It's really possible.
He's a very dirty Zerg player.
Yeah, I think the map order doesn't favor him super duper well, unfortunately. If he had Rising Bloom against Bisu, because he'll be playing JYJ first.
Right.
If Rising Bloom was map 2 and he beats JYJ map 1, I could see him taking Bisu down on that map.
Yeah.
Because it's so different and he'll have something really cool prepared. But it's going to be the very vanilla Sylphid that he has to play that second match on. So I think it's going to be a little bit harder because of that. And I do definitely favor Bisu getting out first. But I want to say, JYJ is really, really strong. He's a very solid Terran player overall. He has a good range to his play. And he can beat Shine.
Yeah.
He absolutely can beat Shine.
So, we are moments away from getting into our first best of one here. Now, Bisu is actually, look, as a guy who grew up watching the StarLeague, because I was always a big fan of this guy. This player has revolutionized PvZ in a way that I think nobody will ever be able to top as far as just changing the meta and the way that we understand it. He still has a very different approach in PvZ than a lot of the other top Protoss players have.
Yeah.
He's a very harass-oriented player. Now, his PvT is also phenomenal. PvP is phenomenal as well, but I think PvZ is where...
That's what he's known for.
Yeah.
For sure, is because he did revolutionize that matchup. Overall, statistically, his PvP we see here, but also just in general, his PvP has always been monstrous.
Yeah.
His PvT is his weakest. There's no question there. You know, it's not that it's bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just
it's not as strong as his other matchups, and that makes it a little bit more dangerous for him. But this guy that he's going up against, Leda, this is his weakest matchup as well, TVP.
Yeah.
And so that makes me a bit nervous for him, but he's a good best of one player. He has a lot of tricky builds. He's not a player that I would ever bet to beat another pro in a best of 5 in this matchup.
Yeah.
But in a best of 1 on a strange map like this, he's as dangerous as in fact, he might be more dangerous than a stronger TVP player, because a stronger TVP player will probably play more predictably.
Yeah.
Whereas with him, I could see him doing anything here. He could go 1-base dropship. He could go 2-fact. He could go command center first. There is a huge range to what he could pull out, and that's going to make it a little bit hard on Bisu, who's expected to win.
Also, Leda known for doing a lot of weird stuff with Wraiths.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
very, very much so. We'll probably see that match, too.
Yeah, yeah. If you had to have a player that you would associate with the Wraith, that would be this guy.
He's the Wraith.
Again, we probably won't have it in this game, but just gonna throw that out there. Yeah. So this is our new map, Ringing Bloom.
Yeah, so Ringing Bloom, it's an odd one. You have a natural that's in the back of your main base, so it's like basically a free base, and then what you're going to see is a very wide ramp with minerals on it to make it less wide, and then 2 funny-looking Zerg buildings. Those Zerg buildings, you're going to be like, oh, why are those there? Those are there so that... Yeah, don't worry, I'm here to hold your hand. Why are those? I don't get it. Why is there Zerg buildings on the map? It's because if there wasn't, this map would be impossible for Zerg. They need a location that they can put down Sunkens, right? They need to be able to block the ramp somehow. So that's why those are there. You can build underneath them with creeps, right?
Yes.
So that is why those 2 buildings are there. You'll probably actually see that used quite a bit by Zergs today.
Yeah.
Or just throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
again,
you have to go 3 hatch right away, and it's like terrible.
Getting close to 23 years of StarCraft 1, you know, at the pro level, we've got some pretty abstract concepts on some of these maps.
Yes.
When we get a Zerg player on that map, I think it'll make much more sense.
Yeah.
when you see it.
In this matchup, it won't really.
Yeah, in this matchup, it's just going to be some kind of weird eyesore.
Yeah.
And then the game will pan out as normal.
Yeah. We have some weird maps here. Plasma's in the pool, so
Yeah.
it's gonna be wild.
So let's see what exactly Bisa wants to do. I think Nexus first is pretty likely on this map, but you know, there's a lot of different stuff you can do.
But it's Leda, so he might do something crazy like a proxy
Very
Rex.
true. Yeah, we don't know. Game 1 is ready. Bisa vs. Leda starts now.
게임 준비 완료.
ASL's on. It's good to be back, guys.
링잉 블룸에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Okay, so it's Bisu in the upper left and Leda in the lower left. Again, it's a 4-player map, a fairly big map, and although, you know, there's some interesting features on the entrance, I think in this matchup, I'm really curious to see how the pocket expansion will be treated. This is an expansion that's in the back of your base, so, you know, almost all RTS games initially start out with everybody rushing each other. I mean, like when the game comes out, everybody's trying to do rushes and trying to kill each other as quick as possible.
Yeah.
And then somebody figures out how to not just hold the rush, but expand to their natural base as well. And then, you know, we call it the natural because it's the most obvious place you'd go and expand to.
Yes.
The one that's just outside the front door. But pocket expansions make it kind of interesting because if you're going to rush them, you don't even get to go to that expansion first. You're going to be hitting their main. So usually on maps, pocket expansions are even easier to take than natural expansions. But there are certain timing attacks and rushes that can kill players. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of that on PvT right now because we haven't had a lot of maps like this in the pro circuit. So we're going to basically see you know, where the experts lie on this.
Yeah, and one thing to mention as well, a lot of maps that have had pocket expands in the past, you would still see people expand out front first because you just have builds that can already do that, and then you basically get a free third base, which is very powerful also.
And the third base is oftentimes much more important to try to secure in some matchups than the natural, so that's another way to approach it as well.
But on this map in particular, you don't really have that option because the out front base is not placed like a regular natural. So you're really going to take the one in the back. We see Bisu starting with that Nexus first, as you suggested he might, and of course that's anytime you have a map like this, in Protoss vs. Terran, you'll almost always go Nexus first because even if your Nexus is out front, it's extremely hard to punish. And when it's in back, it's basically impossible unless you blindly counter it from the beginning with something like Proxy Barracks.
So, notice the probe scouting cross spawns here. The probe goes through the middle because you just want to see, okay, there's not 2 barracks being made here, right? If there are, then we got to react pretty quickly. And in cross scout builds, occasionally this is very inefficient as far as seeing what they're doing, but if you confirm they're not in the cross location, then you can play a slightly more conservative game. You know, if you find out your opponent is in the opposite starting location, like bottom right in this case, Protoss can get really greedy as long as they're safe first drops. They can get very, very greedy.
Well, it actually looks like Bisu might just be getting greedy anyways here. I see only 1 gate going up for him, so that's already kind of greedy. He does have his probe coming out and scouting exactly where the Marines are. He gets gunned down by 2 Marines, so at least he knows it's not like a command center first build, but that's all the info he'll have for now. Kind of interesting to see him have 2 probes on the map. I think that kind of shows the fear that you have to have of Leda in a position like this, because he might do something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, to be frank, everybody, Leda is not as strong as Bisu is.
Yes, he's not.
Like overall, I mean, he's a great player, but Bisu should be able to win this, but he just wants to cross his T's and dot his I's and make sure that he has a very good handle on what's going on. Now, see that pylon placed down there? That's a really smart move. Let's say that there's an attack at the ramp. Yeah, what you can do is you can use your probes and right-click where that pylon is on the minerals, and they'll be mine moving. And that's a great way to catch stuff on the ramp.
Yeah. Also, should be noted, Oh, what's this? Okay, actually a
Oh,
proxy
wow,
robo.
okay.
That's really interesting as well. But also, like, drops against Protoss, especially from Leda, are pretty common, right? Like,
Right.
Well, I would say actually only from Leda it's pretty common. But he's definitely someone that might end up going for something like a drop, and you might spot it with that.
I don't feel like we oftentimes see hidden tech after Nexus first.
No, you really do not. You really do not.
You know, one of the things about when you do hidden tech is you're trying to just cover. You're trying to get as many probes out and have the bare minimum possible to hold. So usually you want all the tech there just in case something happens, right?
Yeah.
But let's see how this actually works out, because obviously a Reaver drop is going to hit that main very, very quickly here. I'm sorry, not the main, the pocket expansion.
Yeah. But like you were saying, you can actually, this map is so different, right? Because you've taken that pocket expand. You can actually just like forego range for a little bit longer, right? Because you're on top of a ramp. It's just so impossible to break. So I think that's definitely a piece of what we see going on. Now, Leda has chosen, this is not an uncommon way to fight against Nexus first. He's gone mines very quickly and a third command center right away. So he's just trying to kind of outgreed Bisu slightly.
Oh, wow.
That is a
gigantic
so big find. A gigantic find. Yeah, and the fact
keep
that he's
in mind
laying
that
mines,
the observers come from the robo, okay? So it's not even like you can get an observer over there to try to save your robo now.
Yeah.
Now, this is good game sense here. Leda knows the shuttle has to be empty.
Yeah.
Because there was, you just can't get a Reaver over there that quickly.
Dude, that's brutal. He's already gotten the shuttle. He's already gotten the Reaver tech. And with this third base up in mines everywhere, there is no punish available for Bisu.
Yeah.
There is nothing available for Bisu. Leda has an advantage right now.
It's kind of crazy, too, because if you look at the additional travel distance that the shuttle has to make to drop there, if it was just made in the main, it's not that much more. You know, had he not hidden the robo there. So this is, I'm a little bit worried here for Bisu.
Yeah, it's not a great position for him, but there's no damage that can income from Leda anytime soon. We'll see what he lines up with. Like, we see, okay, so we see the armory, right? He does have an engineering bay up. He probably does want to throw down a couple turrets, you know, just in case. He knows there's a shuttle out.
Right.
But where is he going to go from here? Like, does he want to get 2-1? Does he want to hit a +1 timing attack? Does he want to take a 4th base? We don't know what Leda's plan is. And the longer the game goes, the more that this won't affect Bisu as much, right? Like, these early things that can happen, the later we get, it's like, well, you've just kind of recovered. You know, it's not the biggest deal now.
I do wonder if we'll just continuously see shuttles and Reavers made here, and he might try kind of bombing the pocket expansion again, or if that opportunity is lost here.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to get a Reaver. There it is.
There is basically an approach where you just keep getting speed shuttles and Reavers.
Yeah.
And you just keep hurling them into expansions, because right now, I mean, 3 command centers this fast, Terran really does not have a lot.
No, you certainly do not, right? Like, you've skimped as much as you possibly can to get here. But you know what? He's got some good turret placement. That's a beautiful bunker he's putting down. His siege mode, if it's not done, it should be any second. You know, I think he's pretty safe overall.
Okay, siege mode is done.
Yeah.
If siege mode's not done, the Protoss can actually still pop in there and shoot out a Reaver and then pick it up and run.
Yeah, sometimes you'll try. You try to skip it as long as you can, but it should be, and he has it ready.
It's gonna dud.
Yeah.
So that's another little trick where you drop the 1 Zealot, the tank will fire at that, and then you drop the Reaver out. And there's enough time in between before the tank fires a second time. You have the Reaver try to shoot down the SCVs, but it did not work. Again, though, you know, Reavers, it's quite different from the very early days of StarCraft, where you would make, you know, 1 Reaver, and if it didn't do that much damage early on, it wasn't a good investment. Now the Reaver is really a unit you use the whole time. You use it with your army, and it's very strong.
Yeah, it's great. And look, I mean, he's still finding ways in.
Yeah.
We'll see if he actually gets very much damage done here. I can't imagine too much, but, you know, maybe pick off a tank. He makes some SCVs run.
This is
He's getting some scouting intel.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad.
Yeah. Look how many factories Leda is adding. I really like this approach. He got that third base up very quickly. Bisu, like, he's going up to Arbiter, but I don't know that it's actually going to be ready when Leda moves out. You notice how he's gone for his armory, but he never got the starport here? He is going for a timing attack. Like, he is just going to attack with so many units.
I don't even know why he just dropped there. He just lost the Reaver. For like
that was
4
kinda
SCVs?
weird. Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
His shuttle was stuck, and he has to know that it glides.
Oh, was it
being
actually
made.
trapped in there? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't see that correctly.
So I guess maybe he thought that was the best he could do.
Okay, got it.
But right now, this is like, look, Leda just got +1. The guy has like 8 facts right now. He's going to hit a very strong attack coming up.
Bisu might just get rolled here.
It's possible, but let's not forget he did open up with Nexus first, so he's about to explode as far as his macro goes too, right? He's got a lot of gates. He should be producing, but I don't know that he's going to have a stasis ready when this attack hits.
Yeah, and the stasis might be the most important thing to have. If you can get one good stasis, let's say you freeze, 4 or 6 tanks or something like that, or even if you get all the vultures, then you can take a fight. But yeah, I think that stasis is just far out enough that you're going to be in trouble. So there's another shuttle coming in here.
Okay. Leda, okay, I was going to say he might dive in to try to get Leda to turn around, but Leda should not turn around. He just has to attack right away. He cannot lose any time here. This is a very sharp window he's in. Look at those supplies right now. And those supplies tell me that Leda's army should be a bit better.
Yeah, he's coming through here now. There's more vultures coming to meet up. He's sieging up the tanks in the back. This is actually a really well-handled attack here by Leda.
Yeah, look at this. Beautifully done right now. He is just melting most of the army. A good Zealot drop, though, on top of the tanks. Gets a couple extra ones, but Bisu has to pull back.
Yeah, that's too much. Now, Protoss can still survive here, but it's going to be very, very difficult. I think Leda's production is out of control. There's so many vultures here. I don't know if there's ever going to be enough zealots, but this is a smart move here by Bisu to run around. He's going to try to just catch reinforcements, but he may end up sacking his third base in the process.
Dude, this is really good for Leda. Bisu's running around, and that's about the best option he has because he knows he can't save his third base, but maybe Leda will make some sort of mistake, rally units in, or split his army incorrectly. But if you look at how turtled this position is and how many units he's making at a time, no way. Look at this. He brings these back, flanks with all the vultures, and will easily clear what Bisu has on the map.
Yeah, I think this is the beginning of the end here. Usually the idea is that those units are caught, the reinforcements are caught, and then you buy enough time and you come in and sandwich them on both sides. But the reinforcements just killed that army.
Awesome play from Leda. He has just played a very clean game after finding that robo, and Bisu is in unlimited trouble. Like, this is crazy. Look at that. The Nexus gets found. Bisu's playing from 2 base.
And, honestly, like, I just don't think Bisu can recover from this.
It's going to be really difficult. If he recovers, it's going to be amazing, because look at the minefield. Look at the turrets, the siege tank placement. I'm kind of surprised he brought like 8 tanks to kill a Nexus that has nothing at it. He should bring that home, but yeah, other than that, it looks like we're going to have a recall coming up from Bisu.
Okay, this is a real Hail Mary play here. Let's see if he can make it work. I think he might even be recalling the other Arbiter in with this as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Leda's picked up on this.
Okay, let's see where he goes. I don't know if he has mines really spread in his mainnet. He's starting to now, flying over some turrets. Oh, that's a lot of units to recall on top of, man. I don't know about this.
Yeah, this is going to be one scan and everything's dead.
Yep.
GG. Bisu loses in an upset here, and Leda will go on to the winner's match. Now, Bisu's not eliminated. He'll have a chance to try to come back here, but first game in ASL, a crazy upset.
Yeah. That was well done by Leda, though. He took a very standard approach to playing against what Bisu did.
Yeah.
Bisu tried to do the forward robo, and that really cost him, because when you have already invested that much in Reaver Tech, you could have been on your way to anything in the game, right? Like, he totally could have had a stasis ready if he didn't go Reaver. Instead, his robo got killed. He had to remake it because he already had a shuttle. He already had Reaver Tech.
Yeah.
Didn't get anything done with it. Loses the Reaver, loses the shuttle. Just a very hard spot for him. And the thing is, Leda knew exactly what to do.
Yeah.
He skipped his upgrades, he added the factories, and he rolled it.
Yeah. No, he handled it very, very well.
That was a really good play from Leda.
I don't know, guys. Bisu might be the first player eliminated in all of the ASL, which would be insane.
It's possible.
Man. Okay, well, we're going to go to our next best of one then. Shine versus JYJ.
Yeah,
This should be pretty exciting. And we'll be going to that after this short break, so don't go away.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
상큼한 복숭아가 사이다를 더 청량하게. 새로움을 마시다.
실성 사이다.
여기 열었습니다.
이상한데? 그렇게 작아.
너무 보이는데?
보이지가 않잖아. 이거 쓸 수가
아니
없는데?
저거 키워보라고.
성공해. 17대화면으로 언제 어디서나 더 크게 즐기다. WQXGA 초고화 질의 17대화면 16:10 최적의 화면비. 고성능 노트북의 새로운 기준. LG 울트라 기어.
라면이요.
이게
나왔습니다.
잠깐만 들어주세요. 빨리 나와요 이거.
음료 나왔습니다.
From the beginning.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
ASL 시즌 10 타임레스.
Okay, shortest commercial ever. Welcome back. We're going to see what Shine's going to do here. Now, Shine's a player who has really sneaky builds. I still think he can get out first of this group.
It's definitely it's possible. It's possible, but I think actually the hardest game for him is this first one maybe.
Okay.
JYJ is just kind of overall a standard player. He's just pretty solid, and I think that that's something that can be difficult for Shine. If people are really trying to like optimize or have a very stylistic approach, I think that Shine can fight very well against them because then they have some more weaknesses to his kind of wonky off builds. But when you're playing just a very standard, solid game, there's not many holes. That's why that's standard. That's why that's solid. So if JYJ approaches it in such a way, it's like, well, I mean, Shine can take a few risks and try to get ahead, but that's where we're at, right?
Yeah, really, everybody who's played ladder at any level knows this type of player. If you're Protoss, you're Terran against a Zerg, where they'll drop you right away, or they'll get to mutas way quicker than normal, or they'll make it look like they're going to do a macro build and suddenly you get hit with an all-in. Shine is the spirit animal of those Zerg players. So
well, there's enough of them on the ladder that you knew that eventually one was going to be a pro gamer.
Exactly,
Just statistically, someone was going to make it, and this is the guy.
The aggro, sneaky Zerg. Yeah. This is not the guy that... And I mean, Shine does have great macro and can play standard too, but he's more known for just the super crazy, super all-in-y builds. And this guy got to an ASL finals doing this.
He did. Look, he's a good player. There's no question. And, you know, we talk about that so much, and then every now and then, he pulls out a beautiful macro game.
This is also the observer for the GSL, I should say.
And he was a pretty good StarCraft 2 Zerg as well.
Right.
Wasn't a champion or anything, but he was strong. He had some good games in there.
JYJ has been in the last few ASLs, but has not really done much. I guess you could say he's one of these players that's the weaker half of the top 24.
He's a guy that's on the edge of qualification, basically, always. Where it's like, if he doesn't make it in, you're not like, whoa! But if he does make it in, you're not like, whoa!
Yeah, it's... I mean, look, I'm rooting for the guy, but I think it's going to be a few more years before we see JYJ get further along in a tournament. You know, StarCraft 1 is so competitive now.
Yeah, no, it is. But yeah, he's in that group of up-and-coming Terrans, but he's at the front of it, kind of, right?
Yeah.
There's this group of Terrans that are getting really, really good, like Sorry and Ample and JYJ, etc. And JYJ is the one that's getting the most success overall.
Yeah. So we're going to be going on to the same map as we had before. We will probably get to point out these new map features that Zerg will need to use to control their ramp. Again, it's possible Terran goes for a command center right away in the back of their base. We'll see if, Shine did mention that he's been studying this map quite a bit. He was pretty ambiguous when he was asked if he has anything special in store.
Yeah.
Because I think obviously he's not going to say that in front of his opponent to make his opponent think of anything. But if I had to guess, I think we're going to see something weird with drop or muta play early on.
Okay. It's a possibility. Also, I want to point out, because of those strange things that allow you to build Sunkens early on, there is a possibility of a quick Zergling rush with a Sunken push. That can occur.
I actually hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
That's an old Coliseum build. Coliseum was a similar map where you had a pocket expansion in your main base, and then there was like this little bit of creep that was kept alive by like a neutral Sunken that never attacked anything. We've had it in the ladder already in StarCraft Remastered. I think we even maybe had it in one of the ASLs.
I think so, yeah.
Or we had it in KSL. I think that's what it was. But yeah, there is a build that exists. I forget exactly what pool it is. It's like 6 or 7
I think
pool
it's
where
7
you do
pool.
Sunken.
Yeah.
And so he might have a build like that prepared. That is a realistic possibility.
It's funny because it's impossible on almost any map to do a Sunken push, but yeah, it's the same thing as like a cannon rush, basically, except that you have a whole bunch of Lings that can cover that. And Zerglings are the best early game unit.
Yeah.
They're just, especially once you get speed with them, but they're just very, very good.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, maybe we have something like that. Maybe it's going to be a more standard game, but the fact that it's Shine makes me wonder.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he has something planned, because he doesn't want to just go play a standard 2-hatch muta macro game here. I don't think, even though he has good Mutalisk micro, he definitely knows how to do that. At the pro level, that can be difficult to pull off.
It does seem like if there's a way he can exploit a feature on the map, he's going to do it. And we're right at the beginning of using this map here in ASL.
Yes.
So, like, if there's some dirty play, Shine, day one, this might be the moment.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you want to get out of the group as quickly as possible here. Yeah, I'm not sure what to expect from him, but I'm excited, because I think that there is that opportunity for the sunken rush. But it's a little bit tricky, right? You're going to need, because when you put it down, it'll expand the creep, and then you can move a second sunken forward. So I think you'll need 2 sunkens if you do this.
Yeah.
Also, it should be mentioned, sunkens outrange bunkers.
Yes. And
so a bunker doesn't defend this. You actually have to bring your SCVs and your Marines, and you have to kill everything.
Yeah. And, it should go without saying, but just as a reminder, if we do have this build, you have to use 1 drone to make a sunken colony.
Yes.
So you'll have to continue to have drones come in. It's not like Protoss where you just warp in as many cannons as you want. But in some ways, if you can get the sunken up, it's so powerful because it comes out so early, and it can be protected so easily by the Lings. So, yeah, maybe we have that. I certainly would welcome it. I don't know if we're going to have a long standard game. I think something from Shine. I'm watching Shine this game. Let me put it like that.
Yeah, totally. And as far as JYJ goes, I'm not sure what to expect here from him. I could see him doing the Goliath build. I could see him going for just a standard Marine opener. Yeah, it's really hard to pinpoint what he wants to do. One thing to mention is at those back naturals, they're a little bit tight, and there's a wall around them that's pretty close to the minerals, which means that those bases are very harassable by mutas. So that makes the 2-hatch muta a little bit stronger in a situation like that, especially if you take into consideration the position. For instance, if we had the same positions as last game, if Shine's top left, JYJ is bottom left, that's going to favor the Mutalisk harasser, because they're hitting near natural, and you can't really have Marines back there and then get them out of your base quickly. So because of that, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a mech or a 1-1-1.
ASL 시즌 10 게임 준비 완료. 링인 블룸에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Okay, same spawns as the last game. We've got Shine in the bottom left. We have Terran and JYJ, I should say, in the upper left.
Yeah. Now, these are not the positions that would favor the two-hatch Muta player, because, as you can see, the natural JYJ is kind of far off from where Shine would want to go.
Yeah.
Right? So, if the positions were reversed, the two-hatch Muta would be very, very strong. That's not the case here.
So, let's talk about ZBT here in a more normal fashion, because there's also a chance that Shine surprises us and just goes into a more standard play. This is a matchup where it's very important the Zerg gets the third base up because you need the third gas. You need.
Sorry, we have the chat up on a screen.
They have
I'm watching people inform me that you can't get Goliaths in time to stop two-hatch Muta. Thanks, guy in the chat.
I know.
You're really quite brilliant. Thank you for correcting me there, guy who's never played the game. Anyways, it's so funny. It's so funny.
So you need to get the third base up pretty quickly here because you need the third gas. Third gas is going to allow you to fund your way into late game. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times, unless Terran goes mech or something like that, you need to control the map, get the Marines out there, and try to stop the Zerg before they get to Hive and Defiler. The game is still winnable from Terran if they have Defilers out, but you're in a new new level of difficulty.
Yeah.
The Dark Swarm is the most devastating spell in this matchup.
It's pretty wild what it can do as soon as it's up, basically. The game just prolongs for a really long time. Yeah, I'm excited, though. Look at this, right? We do have the gas opener from JYJ. I wonder if he knows there's no chance to get Goliaths before the Mutas get there. Damn. We can see we hook him up with a coach from the chat. But look, I'm not too surprised to see that as his opener.
Yeah.
There's no sort of crazy quick Zergling rush with Sunken or anything like we were talking about before from Shine. So no issues there. Looks like a pretty standard opener from him.
So, from here, we want to see how the Terran's going to handle this. The Terran is doing a lot of defending in the early to mid game. Similar in PvT as well. But you have to be back, you have to kind of hold off everything, and then eventually have a push that comes out here. Now, the Zerg has to be careful, too, here, because in this matchup, both the races have incredible amount of damage that they can deal with their armies while having very brittle units. There's a glass cannon thing going on both sides.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
If you miscontrol your mutas, you will lose all of them. If you are not paying attention and your Marines run into lurkers, they will just disappear. A player can be trying to engage a Terran army, and if they don't bro correctly, the Marines will shoot down everything. So it really is a matchup about precision. It can be very frustrating for both players because you're really dealing with just such brittle units.
Well, yeah, it gets a little bit less brittle if you end up going for the Goliath build, where you're basically pumping out Goliaths to be safe against everything. I don't know yet if that's what he's going to do. We're going to see in just a second. If he throws on an Armory, then that's what he's going for. If he throws on Starport, then he is going instead for the 1-1-1 build, which is... okay, so there's the Armory. JYJ will be going for Mass Goliaths to defend against any early opener. You can see the placements here. We talked before about how those are for Sunkens, but they're too far to the side to stop a Vulture. So what Shine has done here is he's made a little wall to the bottom with the Spire and the Sunken.
Yep.
And then he has the Lings up top. So if the Vulture tries to run in, the Lings will slow it along enough that the Sunken can kill it. So it's just a kind of positional thing that we see here. You see the Vultures like peeking, but when he sees the Lings, it's pointless. You'll just lose it if you try to go forward.
So this Goliath build, by the way, if you're someone learning the game, this is actually a really good build to copy.
Yes.
I think it's actually one of the easiest builds to do.
So lowest skill to highest return in this matchup.
I think it have almost all the matchups. It's hard to find a build that's this good.
Well, there's one called Proxy 2-Gate, which is kind of hilarious.
Oh, Proxy 2-Gate is easily one of the best builds ever.
Yeah.
But I would actually say, even if you had as good as Proxy 2-Gate is, I feel like this one gets you into a position in mid-game that is so strong. Proxy 2-Gate is strong because you can sometimes just kill people.
Yeah.
But as far as
this is a very easy build to do.
Yeah, it's very
very simple. There's
straightforward.
not a lot of micro to it. There's just a few decisions you have to make that can be a little bit tough.
There's not a really, really difficult decision tree that follows it either, like certain other builds.
Yeah. It kind of matters the way that you want to play it, because there's all sorts of options that you can take with the Goliath build. Like, for instance, you can do a 5-factory all-in with it.
Yeah.
You can go for a switch into Vulture tank and take more bases and go for a 2-1 push, right? There's a huge range of things that you can do, but some of the easier ones are just like, well, you do this, and then you're either going to win or lose, and you actually gave yourself a reasonable shot because it's powerful.
And Goliath amassing is a funny thing. It's because Goliaths are so strong against air units.
Yeah.
And their range is so incredible that if you get a bad engage, whether it's carriers or mutas, you can lose so many mutas. But at the same time, mutas are also such a strong unit that sometimes we'll see players just keep going mutas, getting the armor, and it becomes this weird arms race.
That's one of the trickiest things in this strategic matchup that we're seeing here, is that if Zerg decides to keep going mutas, you can't really tell with the Goliath build because all of your tech is going to be later, like your scouting techs, right?
Science Vessel.
Yeah. You generally won't get a Science Vessel too quickly.
But you do eventually have to get a Vessel, right?
It matters.
Oh, really? Okay.
If they stay on Muta, yes, you have to get Vessels.
I see.
If they switch into Hydra, no, you don't get Vessels.
You just get tanks and then try to push them?
Exactly.
Got it, okay.
But you can't know that because you don't get the scanner until pretty late with this build. So the best you can do is like push out with your Goliaths after you have +1 done. You get +1 done, you kind of go across the map, poke everything a little bit, and generally you'll see what their idea is, and then try to counter from there. So we see Shine is actually going for Hydras here. And on JYJ's side, he's decided to go for a pure macro build. He's getting a science facility, and he's getting another armory. So he's going for upgrades. He's going for the longer game. Now, Shine is coming across with these Hydras. The Goliaths are no longer at the ramp. He's going to be able to get up this ramp easily.
Oh, no. There's just an opening here. By the way, Goliaths, not great at fighting ground to ground. They're not bad.
Yeah.
But a Vulture or a tank, I mean, everything else is preferable over them. So
now that being said, when you're playing in this situation where you're both on 2 bases, the Goliath player, if they keep an arc, if they use a few SCVs, they won't die to this.
That's correct.
You will live through it.
You have enough to hang on. The danger is if you can get Mutas and Hydras and Lings all hitting the Goliaths at once.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to allow that to occur. And you can see he's built a depot here just to kind of block things. He's building a bunker. Bunkers are very, very good here. They suck up a lot of damage from the Hydras.
This is so funny watching Hydras just hit the outside of the wall like this is a Dragoon Rush in an early game PvT.
Or it's ZBP, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hit the gate, hit the forge.
This is a rare moment where a Zerg can do this to a Terran, because usually there would be a siege tank on the other side of this wall, but...
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. The Marine pops out and is actually killed off.
Yeah, we see that Shine is actually pretty darn all in right now, which means the longer JYJ sits here, the worse it is for Shine. It's really actually unfortunate for Shine what he's chosen to do in a lot of ways, because JYJ just happened to choose to do the macro version of this.
Oh! Almost snipes the tank.
But yeah, basically JYJ has already made his decision to not.
Oh my God!
That's
okay.
insane. That's insane.
That's one way to lose the game.
Yeah, so Shine's in so much trouble now. He is relying on his Hive tech. He has to get into Defiler and use Dark Swarm. That is his only chance now.
I cannot believe he just threw the mutas like that.
Dude, killing the tank is gigantic because you know at this point they're only producing 1 tank at a time, right? So your mutas are not actually worth that much. We see Shine throwing down a couple lurkers. That's very big that JYJ got to scout that. And he is going to send out that Speed Vulture and see what's what. But look, this for Shine right now becomes this kind of balancing act, it becomes very technical because JYJ's army is unequivocally stronger and will be for a long time. What Shine needs to do is utilize lurkers, which there's no detection for, but there will be because scans are going to come up.
Right.
And he needs to utilize Dark Swarm because like a lurker with nothing around it under Dark Swarm can't be hit by the Terran army.
Yeah, that's correct. It's pretty insane how strong it is. Terran continues to stay back and macro up. And we do have that first vessel coming here. Now here's that third base that's going to finish up over here. And we were mentioning this earlier on, but it is very important for the Zerg to get a third base. But the dynamic of this game is quite different because the Terran is actually going for mech, which is the unorthodox approach to the matchup. The traditional approach is to go medic marine, some tanks occasionally, depending on what kind of game it is, and science vessels.
Yeah. He gets that first lurker. You know, he should be actually starting to produce a lot of vultures here, which is going to help him because once you start getting mines out, it's really hard for Dark Swarm pushes to kill you off or anything.
Right.
So I don't know what Shine's plan is because he took a third base, he's droned it reasonably, but is he going to keep expanding? Okay, he is going to keep expanding. So it's not like he's just going, okay, let's go third gas and then a swarm all in, you know, that type of thing. He's definitely really far behind, but he has to make this game very long to win it.
Yeah, he has to drag this one out.
Yeah, there's like literally no options for him to win this game until he gets more than what he has.
So when you're the Terran here, do you want to try to just push him and kill him? Is that the plan? Or is there a timing attack that you're aiming for?
Well, you definitely want to be walking out and pressuring because your army is so much better right now. But it comes down a lot to this. See these two vultures running. He actually even went for the +1 attack quickly because he was planning to go for multiple upgrades. So vultures are going to just massacre. Get as much value as you can with vultures. And this is minerals. You don't even care about them, right?
Yeah.
You can lose all these every single time. It doesn't affect the strength of your army here. All right, he's throwing down a lot of mines. He's killing a lot of drones here. I would say that's a good Dark Swarm, definitely.
Yeah, it's a good save there. Just take what you can get, you know, in moments like this. And I'm surprised that Scourge didn't catch that. I feel like Shine is not, just mechanically we're seeing him make enough mistakes that I'm getting a little bit worried here.
Yeah, well, he's got himself into such a bad position with that 2-base push. It's just stuff like that you're not really supposed to die to as Terran. You know, especially on a map like this where you're on the high ground. You know, he has the Defilers, so that gives him some wiggle room here. Maybe he can make something happen, but, you know, this army that JYJ has is just so strong. If there's no Dark Swarm, you'd need more than twice the army Shine has to take it down. But, of course, with the Dark Swarm, anything is possible.
Okay, we're seeing a lot of mines get littered all over the place here. And this is hard for the Terran, I'm sorry, the Zerg to deal with. I mean, it's very easy to just lose everything to those mines. Now, there's mass queens being made. We've seen this strategy before where you go for Broodling and just try to gun down each of the tanks.
It's a good way to try to fight this.
Yeah, the problem is that it's 150 energy.
Yes.
It's like an Arbiter recall. It's like,
yeah.
It's so costly to get that, I don't know that we're going to get to a point in time where this can be used to save the game here for Shine.
Well, what he needs to do right now is make sure that he has a Defiler up at all times at that other base. Because that's what we see going on, right? Is he's trying to push through, and as long as you have a perpetual Dark Swarm here over a few lurkers, you're not going to die.
Yeah, this is one of the funny things about Zergs is like you actually can't get in there. You actually cannot do it.
Yes. Now, we just saw scans that saw what he's up against, which is very, very important. So from here, yeah, he's getting, that actually is EMP that he's researching right now, most likely. This is a little trick that people are starting to try against Queens. We don't see it super often. But the Queens, basically, you know, you don't have smart cast in StarCraft 1, so you have to kind of click them all individually. And when they're coming, if you know that they're coming as Terran, they will clump up, and you can actually EMP them, and then they won't get the Broodlings off.
Oh, damn, I didn't know about this. That's so cool.
Yeah, that should be what he's trying to do.
That's so sick.
It's hard to pull off because the Queens will just come out of nowhere and get you.
Yeah.
Like
Queens are actually very fast units.
Yeah, they fly quick.
They're very responsive. This is another unit that was similar, I guess, to the Scout, where people thought they sucked and you shouldn't use them, but they actually have a role in the game now.
They're the most probably underutilized unit in StarCraft 1 for what they have potential to do.
Yeah, well, even when you see just things like Parasite.
Yeah,
it's like,
and Snare is a great spell too.
Yeah, it's
great.
It's actually, I think, something that I think given 5 or 10 more years, we'll probably just see it used even more and more.
Yes,
because there's
absolutely, I agree.
Like when you look at it just wasn't part of the meta. But I see literally no reason why you couldn't use it for all sorts of great stuff.
Yeah, you see right there, he actually lost a vessel, so that was a great pickoff. Shine is really focused on that.
Here we go.
Yeah, here's come the first Broodlings. Hey, that's value right there, right? He just got 5 tanks. A tank and a queen cost the same. So there you go. Okay, each of those 5 have already paid for themselves. If he can wait another 150 mana, then bam, he's killing it. Now, but JYJ during this has map control and is making mass command centers. Look at what he's taken. That center base with 2 gas, top right as well, top center as well. He's getting so many gases. You can, in a situation like this, like outproduce even the queens, right? Get 4 add-ons and just make tanks nonstop.
Yeah. So the only problem, and it's a big problem, is that when you're playing this style as Zerg, Terran gets the whole map. Terran just gets to go to take everything else. So we'll see how much Terran can try to use with that. But there's going to be a lot more resources that can be bought.
All right, you can see against a sieged tank line, this can be very cost inefficient, but he's trying to get vision of these tanks so that he can go up and actually broodling them really quickly.
That's so sick.
Yeah, he gets a decent amount, but let's not forget those tanks killed a bunch of Hydras on their way up. Like, it's still efficient for Shine overall, and you can see his supply starting to get pretty high too. So, I mean, he's done a very good job of stalling this game out, getting the proper tech, and fighting well. I feel like there's opportunities here for JYJ to do a little bit more than he's doing, because he's just making factory units and being stopped by Dark Swarm and getting Broodling, right?
Yeah.
I want to see a little bit more from him. Like, whether that is maybe get some more drop ships, maybe even... I actually have liked some of the Terrans that have tried things like getting a group of Wraiths against Queens. Try to hunt some of those down,
I think that's a good... Maybe even getting Valkyries?
Normally the Wraiths will do a little bit better. They're just more microable. You can like turn around and run from Scourge and things like that, whereas Valks just kind of die.
Yeah, Valkyries are actually quite weak against.
They die to Scourge very badly. The Wraiths can actually kind of fight against everything. Ooh, okay, so that Parasite, generally when you do that, not only do you see what's going on there, but that's going to allow you to clone all of your Broodlings out as well.
Okay, a push coming through here. Now, although Terran has more supply, Zerg can actually take this out with very little here. And, if you do lose control of the contain, the Zerg can start to hit all these other expansions that are on the map. So you want to watch for that as well.
JYJ is losing ground. He's got a ton of bases, but he is losing ground here. I feel like he needs to be a little bit more pushy. Like, for instance, start running vultures by some of these strange locations and, mix it up a bit more. His economy is out of control. Like, look how many bases he has. It's crazy how much this guy is mining right now. But he's kind of letting Shine take control of what's happening battle-wise in the game.
Yeah.
He's just turtling up and, like, it's like, yeah, I mean, maybe eventually Shine will run out of money, but, he has a lot of time to make things happen.
Do we need to see more drops here from the Zerg?
I think that's absolutely something you should eventually do here, is fill up some Overlords. I mean, if you get a Defiler into a base with a Lurker, like we've talked about, there's no clearing that. you gotta wait. You got like a Radiate maybe if you have
almost
vessels
seems
nearby.
to me like if you could hide a hatchery somewhere and then hide a Nidus.
That's actually
on the other side of the map.
That's a Shine special, actually.
Yeah,
he has done that before. It sounds silly, but occasionally he will bust something like that out.
So Terran is taking just such a massive economic lead, but the trades from the Zerg are definitely better here. The repeated Broodling cast is definitely putting Shine in a good spot, but the problem is that there's so many more resource locations here And this is, I think actually, that was really bad by him. I was talking about how the trades were good until that was not a good trade at all.
That was not good at all.
But what I said earlier for the rest of the game was true, is that there were some good engages here. The thing is, I actually think that as cool as what Shine is doing is, I think the Zerg is just going to dry up as far as resources.
He will eventually. That's for sure. I don't like that Hydra attack we just saw. I feel like there are more options here, like you said. Like maybe he can get drops and just bust something out. We know that we can see on the minimap JYJ's made turrets along the edges of the map to try to prevent things like that because he knows that that is something that could hurt him. All right, still getting some good broodlings off. I mean, look, that's really a lot of value every time.
So, again, you know, good value there. This base, by the way, at 6 o'clock is the base that Zerg is going to have to lean into for the rest of this game if he's going to win. I just don't know that that's going to happen here. It seems like Terran is beginning to close in. Zerg had fought back pretty well.
Yeah.
But it seems like with a few bad exchanges, especially with the Hydras, the Terran is no longer containing. The Terran is actually pushing.
Well, JYJ has so much gas now, he can just make infinity tanks.
Yeah, so even though the idea of trading Broodlings into tanks on paper makes perfect sense.
In a more even game?
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. The problem is Terran has such a lead that it's like, fine, you can actually be the most cost-inefficient player of all time. You have more bases, you can just make more factories, and you literally won't be able to get energy back in time to stop this many tanks being made, right?
Yeah, at this point, like, he's gotten his economy past the point where he worries as much about the cleans. Especially with some of the wasteful attacks we see from Shine. Like, right now, Shine is battling tooth and nail to keep that mineral base.
GG. He just taps out.
Yeah. Which is crazy, because the two most experienced players now are in the loser match.
Yeah.
We have a TVT in the winner match. That's pretty sick.
By the way, Shine versus Bisu. I think Bisu might get killed, Artosis.
It is a real possibility.
Yeah.
It really is. He might get last in the group.
We're going to have a TVT coming up next year. I don't know who's going to take this. Who's
JYJ is favored against Leda, I would say.
Okay.
That's my opinion. But we'll see what type of builds they actually bring out. TVT can be slightly volatile in the early game, but then you can kind of grind it out if you're really good later on.
Okay. Again, guys, it's only best of ones today. We're in the round of 24. This is day 1 of the ASL. And I don't know, man. Either Shine or Bisu's going to get eliminated. That's crazy.
Yeah. Right off the bat.
I know.
That is crazy. That is two very strong players.
By the way, I love the screens on our pillars.
Oh, it's amazing.
We keep upgrading it here at AfreecaTV.
It's wild.
We're getting better and better.
I can't wait,
guys.
Tasteless.
Break time up next at TVT. Do not go away.
여러분 안녕하세요. ASL 시즌10 예선전 대결로 저희가 돌아왔습니다. 와, 이거 황금 밸런스인데 7, 8, 9?
네, 딱 맞는 거예요, 이게.
와, 이렇게 맞아 떨어지나요?
못 믿었어? 못 믿었어? 아니, 당연한 거지. 게이머 2명이 자꾸 딱 당당하게 올라갔지.
근데 오늘은 뭔가 빡겜 하고 싶지가 않아가지고 오늘은 좀 쉬엄쉬엄 하고 싶어서 그냥 소통이나 좀 하면서 놀다가 자고 싶네 오늘은.
나 이번에 원코인 뚫을 줄 알았는데 오늘 조 봤는데도 무섭더라. 와. 근데 한 판 한 판 할 때마다 식은땀 나던데 오늘 진짜. 그리고 저 어제 게임 지고 너무 열받아가지고 저장표를 믿었어요. 왜냐면 이게 이렇게 마우스 움직이는데 손이 잘 안 움직이는 거야.
항상 예선할 때마다 느끼는 건데 왜 이렇게 운 좋지? 결승에서 빡센 상대가 딱 내 기억에 있거든? 그 사람이 맨날 떨어진다니까? 예훈이 형이 떨어진 거야. 진짜 행복하더라.
어제 지고 와 이거 게임을 하면 안 되나 했어요. 공지 써가지고 스타 접을게요 하고 갈라 그랬는데 올라가 버렸네.
와 이때 환호 질렀습니다. 결승 공석전이거든 900만.
승부수가 많이 벌어졌어요. CJ 김윤중 선수가 본선 무대 합류했습니다.
벼락 끝 사러 왔습니다. 저 벼락 끝 사러 왔어요. 저글링들이 올라오면서 이때 속으로 이겼다! 본선 진출이다!
승리의 요인이 뭐냐? 어제 거하게 한잔 했거든요. 거하게 한잔하고 훅 짰어요. 마침이라도 컨디션 너무 좋아.
게임 끝나고 나니까 도제욱 탈락. 도제욱 탈락은 최우선 진출. 딱 이 공식이 딱 돼가지고 저기가 홍동한테 졌더라고.
손 지대로 풀었다 진짜. 이번 예선으로 손 지대로 풀었다 진짜. 3일 연속. 어제 화나가지고 바로 눈썹 하러 갔습니다. 눈썹 바로 만드니까 푸는 거 봐라 여러분들. 인정? 뭔가 첫째 날 둘째 날은 긴장이 그렇게 안 됐는데 셋째 날은 진짜 이게 마지막이잖아. 마지막 이제 뒤가 없으니까 나 처음부터 진짜 긴장이 너무 돼가지고 와 진짜.
예선할 때 그 생각 하긴 했어. 오늘 떨어지면은 이게 마크라고 생각하고 했어요. 예선 딱 한 번 한다 생각했어. 이번 ASL 잘했으면 좋겠다. 이번의 목표 경기할 때 아쉽지 않게 플레이했으면 좋겠다. 파이팅!
I know you drove a shitty car, but you always blocked the balance like November rain. The DJ spins, but no one's dancing. Instead, just talk of parenthood. After this, we'll head up to the landing, he said. She said she didn't think she could. Introduction to her husband. You tell him he's a lucky man. Then it plays over again. All I really wanted was a ride back to your house, the night of homecoming.
ASL 시즌 10 타이머스.
What's up, everybody? We're back, and we have a TVT coming up now.
Yeah, and I misspoke before, said it was Sylphin. It's actually Eclipse.
Yeah.
Eclipse is the map. A cool two-player map. Gives us a lot of very interesting games.
Are we going to have Wraith play here from Leda?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You gotta believe, Artosis!
Dude, Wraith's TVT, it was a thing absolutely 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It was like a very reasonable opening. Nowadays, not so much. Like, there are builds where you can get 1, 2, maybe 3 Wraiths, but anything more than that's cheesy. And can be very weak. So, we'll see how it goes, though. This is a really interesting map. It's a two-player map. There's a lot of variety that can occur in TVT openings.
All right, our game is ready. Again, the winner of this is going to advance to the round of 16 in the ASL.
이클립스에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Leda up in that top right, and in the bottom left, JYJ. In my opinion, JYJ is a stronger player for this matchup, but it doesn't, you know, I don't think it's like by a large margin or anything.
Leda is a very seasoned player, though. He's been around for a long time.
Way more experience.
Yeah, and this happens in ASL where sometimes these players that were really good in the past play in a qualifier and they actually do manage to get into ASL. And you know, when you have that much tournament experience, it really helps. Now, Leda has sent an SCV out very early. I don't. Look, TBT cheese. I'm actually not that familiar with. Can you do as some kind of a proxy?
Oh, absolutely. A proxy. Well, there's
It's
multiple
one
proxies you can
Rex,
do.
right? Okay.
Oh, you can do.
No, please. Yeah.
You can
take
do
over here.
double proxy barracks. You can do single proxy barracks. You can also do just a forward barracks, right? Where it's like, well, this one is obviously looking like it's going to be like a BBS, which is barracks supply. That's 2 barracks before you even make a depot. You're really cutting a lot. Leda, it's hilarious. He's actually somewhat known for this build because he had a very famous Pro League match where he did this against Flash, and Flash went Command Center first and insta-died. You never saw anyone as happy in your whole life as Leda.
I remember this now.
That was so, it was so funny.
It counts. It's a win.
It is a win. But look, he's gone
Flash,
for...
yeah, I beat that guy.
Yeah. Oh, man. But
So-
look, he's got the 2 proxy barracks. He's going to do a Marine Rush, and, like, they're far enough away that you might not scout it as JYJ, and looking at JYJ, he's not sending a C. Oh, okay, he is sending a 13 scout. That's either you, on a 2-player map, you either send your scout at 13, or you send your scout after the barracks is done. This is going to be a little bit better for him than he sent this earlier.
The nature of this rush, it's pretty tricky here. Remember, Terran have to have an SCV that is targetable building anything. So if you get in there and do enough damage and control well, hard for them to make, let's say, under their barracks, make a bunker. You can shoot that down pretty quickly. But Marines are actually, although I think they're pretty good units, if you had a tier list, they're strong units, they're very, very weak. They have 40 HP. An SCV, a lot of people that don't play don't know this, but a Marine is actually weaker than an SCV.
With very good micro, an SCV beats a Marine.
Yes.
It is kind of hilarious.
When you get enough numbers of Marines, because Marines are very responsive and they fire pretty fast. Oh! Okay, here we go. This is bad because this Marine, that might actually be fatal. Because you're losing the first Marine. This guy's pumping out of 2 buildings. You're pumping out of 1. Now here comes the bunker.
Yeah, losing that first one is gigantic. Okay, he gets in here. He needs to stop the bunker. That's one of the first things. But he's losing so much. Okay, a very good drill right there.
Great drill there.
Yeah, he
one
gets in.
Marine goes down.
He has a Marine out here, but it's 4 Marines on the low ground, and he has that building. Even though it didn't finish, it's giving him vision, which is very important.
Yes, that's key because it's much better if they can't see up the high ground and you're firing down on them. You get much better pairings with your shots. He can kill the SCV that's making the factory. Another SCV drill coming through.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Now, here's the thing: the factory's done. A vulture can beat Marines, but if you can get out, you know that the vulture's going to spawn at the bottom left. If he kills off enough of these SCVs, he will just assassinate the vulture as it pops out.
Yeah, he has enough that the vulture can't kill all these. The vulture does very well, but not that well.
All right. Leda's going to be there it is. Leda's going to be the first player to advance. And that is the shortest TBT we will probably have all year.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that is what happens. That really came down to the first Marine going out to the front of his base. Leda had an SCV on hold position on his ramp. He microed that heavily to slow the scouting of JYJ. And that, like, JYJ was focusing on that, concentrating on that, didn't get the intel that he needed. And so Leda just picks up a very quick win.
Yeah. Devastating for JYJ, who I think is probably a superior TBT player. But look, this is, I think, a very pro decision, saying, you know what? He doesn't usually do that well on ASL. I am an experienced player. Let's get in his face. When that first Marine was shot down on the low ground, that, I think, is basically the tipping point. You're probably going to win the game from there. Great control.
It's almost impossible to do anything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we're going to get to go to that PVZ a lot more quickly. We have Bisu versus Shine coming up next. There's nothing else we can really unpack for that TBT. That's about as straightforward of a StarCraft game as you can get.
Yeah. It really is. So, I mean, congrats to Leda going up in first place. I believe we will be having an interview with him, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we should, I believe, unless the format of the show's changed. So, yeah, let's see how Leda's feeling now that he's managed to advance. Okay, here's our winner's interview now. In the opening day of ASL Season 10, we found out our first player who will advance. It's Leda. Congratulations.
바로 16강 진출을
You're back
하시네요.
to the ASL after 10 seasons, and you're the first player to advance to the round of 16. Incredible.
예상하셨나요, 정말?
You said you were going to make it to the round of 16, but did you really expect to do it in this fashion? So during the practice, I actually had a sense that I might be able to make it.
윤철이가 너무 잘하는데 윤철이가 빌드를 추천을 안 해줬어요. 이거 마인 트리플.
So when I was prepping against Snow, I lost a lot. Snow actually recommended some builds for me.
그래서 당일날 바꿨는데 너무
And
잘 돼서 윤철이한테 너무 고마워.
he said, try that triple CC build. It should work very well, and he did do it, and it was very good.
견제하는 스타일이잖아요. 그래서 오늘 BGM도 뭐 올인.
So this is not the style we're used to seeing from you in past games.
속지 않았나 하는 생각이 드는데 오히려 아예 정반대 마인 운영을 또.
But then you did this barracks supply build.
선수의 좀 전진 건물 로보틱스를 발견하셨을 때 좀 잘 풀릴 것 같다라는 느낌 받으셨나요?
로보틱스를 깨고 나서 이겼다고 확신을 했어요.
Oh, excuse me. They're talking about the proxy to Robo. I forgot about that. So did you know you were going to win when you found that?
그게 안 통하면은.
Yeah, I knew all I have to do is defend after that, and I'm going to be fine.
그리고 승자전에서 정영재 선수.
I think I had a very good read on his play overall.
역시
I stopped everything.
다운 BBS 전략을 또 들고 나오셨어요.
네, 첫판 운영.
So I wasn't expecting that TVT all-in build.
정영재가 좀 운영을.
So I thought
영환이도 그렇고.
if I have macro play in the first game, which he can watch, I don't think he's going to be thinking about an all-in build in the next game.
전혀 신상문 선수의 공백기가 느껴지지 않을 정도로 경기 안에서 이렇게
I thought it would work quite well against him.
보여주셔서 팬들도 정말 깜짝 놀라셨을 것 같아요. 이제 좀 목표의 수립을 다시 하셔야 될 것 같은데.
So you've had a long break from ASL.
어디까지 좀 바라보면 좋을까요, 신상문 선수?
Have you set a goal for yourself in this season? Where do you hope to advance to? So during the practice,
영진이랑도 하고 준호랑도
I feel like I'm improving a lot.
조금씩 실력이 늘어가는 게 보이면서 목표를
Gradually,
16강이었는데 좀 올려서
I've gained confidence.
까지는 한번 노려보고 싶어요.
I think some of the players that I've been playing with have been very, very helpful for me.
오늘 이렇게 멋진 경기력을 보여주셔서
I don't know what my goals are.
신상문 선수 굉장히 예의주시하면서
I guess top 4 would be
팬들에게
ideal.
부탁드립니다.
Any words to your fans?
복귀 예선을 뚫고 다시 방송에 복귀했는데 스폰 경기를 하면 지더라고요. 너무 미안했어요, 진짜.
Done some sponsored matches.
계속 미안했는데 계속 해주셔서 너무 감사하고.
I lost almost all my sponsored matches, so I feel sorry to my fans for that.
좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
I'm going to practice hard and show my best in the season, so please keep cheering for me. Well, once again, congratulations, Leda. And guys, those Leda thighs, that's my takeaway here. Guys, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
싱그러운 청귤이 사이다를 더 청량하게. 새로움을 마시다.
실성 사이다.
성능을 대용량 배터리로 언제 어디서나 더 오래 즐기다. 72Wh 대용량 배터리, 고성능 노트북의 새로운 기준, LG 울트라 기어. 듀얼 메모리, 듀얼 저장 장치. 고성능을 듀얼 업그레이드로 더 오랜 기간 즐기다.
잡아 킬 흐림님 힐 그렇지 나 힐 2점 수리권 온다 잡아 바닥 바로
From the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
ASL 시즌 10 타임리스.
All right, guys, we've got a great match. Shine versus Bisu. Let's eliminate one of these players.
Yeah, kind of crazy to have them in the loser match.
I know, this is not the... I thought we might have this, these two playing against each other. I did not think it would be in the losers match.
No, certainly. This was supposed to be the winner match, really, especially if you look at their seeds. But like they were talking about at the beginning, they might be like the weakest of their rank for the seeds, unfortunately. You know, going into this game, really no idea how it's going to go. Bisu is better at PvZ than basically anybody, but Shine can throw you for a loop.
Yeah,
it's a best of one, anything can happen.
Yeah, when Bisu does lose PvZ, it's usually to some kind of cheese early on. And we'll be unpacking that as the game unpacks itself here, because there's a lot of different ways that PvZ can go. But, you know, Bisu, the guy that really revolutionized how fast expand works, showing really... Like, you know, if Lada's a Wraith, Bisu's a Corsair. Okay, when you think of, Corsair play, it's Bisu, man. This guy's got just phenomenal play. But let's see what Bag of Builds has. Shine, a sneaky Zerg. It's a Protoss's worst nightmare.
게임 준비 완료. 이클립스에서 게임을 시작합니다.
In the bottom left, we have Shine. In the top right, Legend himself, Bisu.
So, this matchup is one, and I do like, I know you guys, if you listen to ASL before, you probably heard me say this, but I feel like it has to be mentioned at least once every ASL season, because, you know, PvZ has changed the most over like 22 years. There were so many different ways people had to approach it to figure out how to do it, and really Bisu was the guy that revolutionized fast expand. And what's funny is now there's some trendy builds where you don't fast expand that are really fun to do and quite strong against Zerg, but any Protoss player worth his salt has to have fast expand down, or you just can't play the matchup.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, of course.
And so, you know, Bisu was someone who was able to do so much damage with Corsairs. He really harasses Zergs in a way that other Protosses cannot do. He will shoot down way more Overlords. He will get in there with his speed lots. He knows exactly where to hide DTs. And he's like the guy that makes this matchup look unfair.
Yeah.
Where you think, oh, Zergs just can't beat these Protoss players. There's no way. And then you look at every other Protoss player and they go, no, 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 this is really, we get killed a lot here. So, this game, it's early Forge over here. Now, this is actually Hatch first. So there is going to be the option to Cannon Rush here.
This is the best Cannon Rush map.
Yeah.
He didn't hide the probe the way he brought it down, but now that he's here, I think he might end up doing it. Yeah.
From the dirt you come.
Yeah, it's really hard to actually jump drones over into this. It's like such a small area. Actually, yeah, Scarlet was explaining this to me a little bit. And you can jump the probe out by making it an assimilator.
Yes. Oh, gets it up. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, look at that. See,
cancels,
so there's like
and then
no
he
room,
makes it,
basically.
Yeah, beautiful play there. Now again, the probe, it has a little bit of a longer range than the drone when it's trying to come through. So the probe can actually fire through the mineral patch.
And it looks like they actually can't really get into an area to fight the probe. A second probe has come down now. Yeah, damn, that is crazy.
It's brutal.
Yeah. You don't have this map veto, do you?
No, I do not, Artosis. I just don't.
You just don't. You
don't
play the
have it.
map. If they give it to you, you play it.
Yeah, I go, okay. So, I'm actually a little bit surprised that Shine went for Hatch first on this map.
It might be a meta move, right?
Yeah, well.
Where it's like the cannon rush
How's
is
that
well
working out?
known enough. No, not so
not well.
Second cannon coming down, and he starts a creep colony.
Uh-oh, Bisu's so good, Bisu's so good, Bisu's so good. So, basically, when the next cannon finishes... By the way, a sunken colony does outrange a cannon. But this cannon is like right up in the front. So, I don't know if the hatch is going to go down, but already a lot of damage has been dealt. Oh my god!
Okay, well, it takes that one down. It looks like it doesn't quite reach the cannon. It's only hitting the pylon. So he is going to lose the hatch.
What? Is he attacking the pylon?
Yeah, he's trying to get the probe out there.
I think he wants to get another cannon there, no? What?
Yeah, no, that was weird.
That didn't make any sense.
Not entirely sure. Oh, I know why he did it, actually. Okay. There is a bug that you can use where it targets something, and then you can make the sunken have infinite range. You can make it target something it can't normally hit. Maybe shine. It looked like in a weird firing rate of the sunk, so I think he was actually trying to do it. So Bisu just killed that because basically then you won't be attacking the pylon. You can't infinite hits on the cannons.
I've experienced that before.
Yeah, that's it's a very, very strange bug, but it is what it is. Okay, Ling's going to try to break through here. Bisu does have 3 probes ready. The other probe at the bottom actually gets pushed through a little bit. Shine going to sneak 2 Lings in.
I assume Ling's speed is on the way. And those are Lings that did not go back. They're actually getting a layer here as well. So, look, if the Protoss succeeds with the cannon rush, this is, like, honestly, a pretty straightforward game for the Protoss to win.
Yeah.
I mean, Zergs can win, and there are a lot of tricky plays, especially from somebody like Shine that you could do, but this is... your strategy has already worked. Now you just have to surf on a clean game.
Yeah.
Just ride the wave to victory, you know, and make sure that, you know, the Zerg doesn't do something super sneaky. Oh my gosh, looks like the last Ling is going to be killed off here. And now there's not even the harass potential here. A probe going across the map. By the way, you see there's no Ling speed. Tells you a lot when you see these Lings can't catch you. First of all, you say, well, I guess I'm going to find out pretty much no matter what.
Yeah.
Unless he blocks the ramp. But
well, he has the sunk in there, so you're not going to get a probe up, but
you can check for the third, which is another thing that you're looking for.
Looks like he is going to go check for that right now.
Yeah.
A couple Zealots are coming across the map as well.
And if it's a Hydra bust, then you'd see Hydras out there. And if you don't see that, then you go, you're making Mutalisks.
But he's not. He's going drops.
That's right. And
or it could be Lurker. It could be Lurker.
I think it's Lurker drop is what it's going to be, which is one of the sneakier builds to do. Because a lot of players anticipate Mutas.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of excited to see exactly which one it is, because I could see it being, you know, everything from drops to the Lurker Ling trying to bust through the front.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's kind of very uncommon, but if you get the cannons, it becomes pretty difficult for your opponent. You just don't have any additional detection. Okay, so Hydra's starting to pop out. Sees the probe, backs up.
So once you see the Hydra...
he did see that, right?
He should have. It's you know, so much of StarCraft is just kind of knowing ahead of time and ticking off boxes if you're out of standard play. And so one of the things you have to do is check the map for overlords with the Corsair. And there's one that you want to watch out for that's going to be by your main.
Yeah.
And that's it's a long shot, but there's definitely games where you lose because the Lurker gets in there and, you know, you start to lose. They burrow, kill the cannon, even if you have one, and suddenly you're stuck on this one base. There's not enough room on the low ground to make stuff.
Yeah.
There it is. Now, I'll tell you this, man. He did not... Oh, that's smart. Is he going to morph him up on the high ground?
He might.
Oh, how funny.
That would be really
That's so
weird.
smart because...
He's trying to draw attention with those Hydras.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's morphing on high ground.
Now, here's what's crazy about this. Normally you morph the Lurkers and then you go up, but I guess why not just morph them up there if they don't see it? And this actually could... I think
this might kill him.
Bisu might lose this game.
He might die to this.
Now, I will tell you, you need to look for that Overlord outside your main.
Yeah.
It is an absolute must, because Zergs will try this. So...
Oh my god. And now Bisu knows that he is in some deep trouble here.
Here's
the Lurker's coming up. Uh-oh, Bisu. People were asking if he'd play the most games in ASL this season. It looks like he might play the least.
Okay, this is bad. So this is the follow-up that you have to do. You throw down the Robo. they're gonna go Corsair Reaver and try to reclaim the main.
Yeah.
But
well, he's gonna lose all the buildings in the main. Here's a question for you, Tasteless.
Yes.
If these Zealots can kill, let's say, the third base, who's winning?
I mean, it just depends. We need to see where these lurkers go here. Okay, this is what I was wondering about having happen here. This cannon's gonna finish.
Oh, jeez.
I don't actually know.
Oh, God. Get this Zealot back here. Oh, my God. He's just gonna die.
Wait. Oh, my God.
Okay, that is... both of them are
They're
at
both
one
one
hit.
cannon shot away from dying.
That's crazy.
Oh, my God. And there's no splash damage available, right?
None.
There's
None.
nothing.
That is a powered robo, so he might be able to just make an observer.
Oh, gets one.
Okay.
Oh, I love that he sends the probes back into the main. I guess the Nexus wasn't killed.
Oh, yeah, because he ran those down to try to get that extra damage. Oh, my God. Is Bisu going to be able to come back here?
I'm not sure.
Well,
I don't know.
He's going to kill the lurker. The lurker can't kill the robo in time.
Go, 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 go.
Oh, let me get the probes. Let me get the
Punch him!
probes.
Punch him!
Okay. Hydra's coming up now.
Okay, so...
This is crazy, Tasteless. This is crazy.
I know, that
like,
was...
no drones.
Now, he should have killed that Nexus. He should have actually killed that.
Well, he was going for a straight-up kill.
You know, he was going for a lethal move there.
Yeah.
Like, if he takes that out, it's over. But, I do think the safer play is to just get the... I mean, if you get the Nexus...
Well, he was going for, like, the... What is it? The Vulcan death pinch? And then Bisu's like, Star Trek's not real!
Well, the problem is that with the Nexus still there, even if you get the lurkers down there, then it's not fatal because you send the probes back into the main. So it's like...
That is kind of
yeah,
funny,
it's like this thing. Like, really, you actually have to kill that Nexus.
I was paying so much attention to that I was like, oh, it's probably just dead, that Nexus. Now he's going to kill this base. Shine looks to be dead. Yeah.
All right, there is justice in the universe. Wow. Well, I say that, but really, Bisu cannon rush at the start of the game. He like does this cheesy cannon rush, and then the guy lurker drops, and I'm like, no, you don't, Mr. Mean Zerg.
Yeah.
You leave this perfectly legit player alone.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well, that was a nail-biter of a game. I actually really enjoyed that. And that was pretty interesting to see the lurkers morphed onto the high ground.
Yeah, that was different.
It's like, oh, you're going to get there really fast. And that's a special touch on that build that Shine did.
Yeah.
Usually you see the 2 lurkers loading up, and then they put it in there. It's like, dog.
Yeah.
2 lurkers and 8 lings. It's like, oh, you can stop, and they're not, and they're like 3 cannons, 2 cannons. You can just kill everything up there, even if you thought you were going to preempt it. There was no cannon anyways, but it's like, wow. All right, guys.
Whew. So Shine is out. Last place in his group.
It's time for Bisu to show us his PBT.
Yeah, this should be pretty good. We're going to go to Polypoid, which is a pretty decent map for Protoss vs. Terran.
I think it's a good map for Protoss. It's big. You got to be careful. I mean, spider mines are more of a headache on this map because there's so much map. But I'll tell you, man, that was a fun game. And let me tell you something, that's one you can learn a lot from.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that, and you can see even the best players in the world, they'll still get got by those lurkers.
Yeah, you still get got sometimes, that's for sure. And then even a pro gamer like Shine, who's one of the best cheesers in the world, will occasionally make the wrong choices with his lurkers and lose that game.
All right, guys, the final match will come after this short break. Do not go away.
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
성능을 언제 어디서나 가볍게 즐기다. 지포스 GTX 1650 그래픽 최신 인텔 10세대 프로세서 탑재. 고성능 노트북의 새로운 기준 LG 울트라 기어.
상큼한 복숭아가 사이다를 더 청량하게. 새로움을 마시다.
야 우리 진짜 한 판만 더 이기면 돼. 야 그럼 나 화장실 좀 갔다 올게. 야 어디가?
금방.
자, 이 정도. 20여 명의 학생들이 컴퓨터 게임에 몰입하고 있는 또 다른 PC방. PC방의 전원을 꺼보겠습니다.
From the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
고고! 핫식스!
울트라 기어로 부드럽게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
거기 들어와. 그 밑에 걔 잡고. 나이스. 됐어.
미안해 로나. 화났어?
미안해. 내가 해줄게.
아 잠깐 내가 누르면 안 돼. 누르면 안 돼 지금. 잠깐 교편한데 무슨 소리야?
좋은 시간 되세요.
From the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
고고! 핫식스!
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
I'm still looking for my takes me back. The house was warm and clean. I always felt safe inside. My heart still has a piece there in the past, and I'm still looking for my home. But everyone until then, I'm still looking for my Gotta play dead.
ASL 시즌 10 타임레스.
What's up, everybody? It's time to eliminate one player and allow the other to escape to the round of 16. That was a great game back there, by the way. You really did not know who was going to win until the very end.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Some questionable decisions, but...
Now, let's not forget, we're here with our Terran player that just got cheesed by Leto.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't get to play much of a winner's match there.
No.
Just got Marine Rushed, died instantly. But he played a solid game against Shine before. Bisu, so far, he has lost to a very strong 3-base timing push in PvT and then defeated a crazy all-in after cannon rushing Shine. So it's been kind of a weird day for him. But he is going up now into his weakest matchup. And JYJ is a player that can really beat anyone in this matchup. He has a wide range of play that he can use. And I don't know what he's going to bring, but after watching Leda kill Bisu, I bet you he feels fine because that kind of idea is doable for any Pro Terran.
Yeah. This is it, guys. Either Bisu or JYJ advance here. Our map is Polypoid. This is a huge map. And Protoss can be very scary in the late game. They get control of it, but there's a lot of different ways to play PvT, and that's why Terrans need to be ready for everything. And our game's actually loaded up now, guys. Let's do this!
ASL 시즌 10 게임 준비 완료.
Hear me crying for ya on my journey.
폴리포이드에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Okay, so both players are sharing the top of the map now. So, yeah, this map is very, very big. Terran can get a 4th base, but you're pretty spread out, and then it's like you're arbiter meat at that point in time.
Arbiter
meat.
Yeah.
They take a big T-bone steak and throw it into the arbiter cage, and the arbiter goes,
it certainly does.
Eats it up. Carriers, first of all, I should say carriers nowadays can be used on any map, but there's maps where it makes a lot more sense to not go carriers. This is one of those maps.
Yeah.
It's very open, and
Bisu's not much of a carrier guy anyways.
No.
You got to be a
like
carrier
Stork.
guy to go carriers. Yeah. And he is,
the skill sets are entirely different. It's kind of like if you're meching with Terran against her, it's like mech play is so different from bio.
Yeah.
And if you can do both, that's great, but like...
You generally have a preference, something you're better at, things like that. Now, I don't know what they're going to open with, so I can't say like too much. It looks like a forward gate from Bisu. So just mixing it up with some early Zealots. But we'll have to see what JYJ does as his opener here. Like, if he's going for like a gasless expand, that could be a big problem. If he's not, yeah, based on the placement of this barracks, can't imagine the Zealot really doing much of anything.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to see Bisu do this on this map just because you're so far away.
Well, that's why it can be good too.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah, it's like if you 2-fac push somebody in like very far distances where they're like, oh, but this isn't good. It's like, yeah, but you're not ready for it. And so you can just die to this. Now, Bisu does this build a lot. I always think of this as Bisu's signature build.
He does do this a lot against Terran.
And it's very strong. You are able to be active in the Terran's face right away. A lot of Terrans want to get the command center up very fast, and you can punish somebody with this. There's actually 2 versions of this. You can do it on 9 if you want. Gateway on 9 where the Zealot gets there even a little bit quicker. And look, Terran is very weak until they get enough mech units out. You know, certain matchups in RTS, one player gets to be the aggressor, the other has to be the defender, and this is a tough one, even at the highest level of play. It's 4 Zealot hits to kill a Marine. Or 3 Zealot hits. I'm sorry, 3 Zealot hits. I was going to say, or 2 Zealot hits to kill a Marine with the probe hitting it twice.
Wait. Say that again?
2 Zealot hits and 2 probe hits.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. So there's, in other words, they're just, and I don't even know how many shots. How many shots does it take from Rain to kill a Zealot? Nobody knows.
70, 80?
Flash doesn't even know that.
No, yes, no. It's never happened.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So he's gunned down the first worker. Now, see this area? The Marines can fit in there and the Zealot can't. That little wedge between the barracks and the supply depot.
Yeah, really beautiful SimCity, but Bisu actually turns around with the Zealot and is getting a huge amount of hits off on these Marines. So that can be a risky move because if Terran's on top of it, wow, really good micro. It can definitely be a risky move, but in this case, I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, remember, these Marines are never going to be healed. It's permanent damage. So even when a Dragoon comes out, it can start to one-shot these Marines, like that one in the back over there. So Protoss also has to be careful doing this to not overextend. Sometimes you overextend and then they have their factory done and they can counter-push you.
Yeah.
The Terran needs to scout and see, is there going to be a second gateway or is it going to be a Nexus right away? And it seems like the modern approach to this, a lot of times, is to just go for a Reaver after the expand.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it.
You already have Zealots out, you can throw them into the shuttle. And here's what I was talking about. The Dragoon...
Oh, he's spreading his fire. There's a bit of a problem here where he didn't really decide on anything, he didn't bring anything down. Good enough micro that he gets 2 into the bunker, which is enough. But yeah, that was a little bit scary for a moment.
Yeah.
And so Bisu actually throws down a Nexus and a Vulture slips out. So this is all kind of standard overall. He did enough damage to the Marines. I don't think he needs to worry about a counter push. And so he can just make that Nexus kind of freely off a single gateway.
Yeah.
But I like that JYJ slips out the Vulture, right? Because when you slip out the Vulture, it's like, send your units home.
Yeah, the last thing you want is a Vulture to get in there and get a lot of probe kills.
Yeah.
So I think this game's going to calm down a little bit here. They're both going to expand up here. But it makes sense in this best of one. Bisu doing the build that we've seen him do so many times before. Just a little bit of early control play. If the Terran was too greedy, you really get to punish. And if not, okay, fine, let's go into a normal game. It gives Protoss a lot of options. And even though I don't know if this is the most optimal build to do on this map, it's still fine. Makes more sense for him to do what he does best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Well, if Bisu gets into a reasonable position, he should be able to outplay JYJ.
Yeah.
I mean, he is more experienced.
What do you think of this tank coming out?
Yeah,
across?
this is very peculiar because he hasn't brought anything else. Like, normally you'll bring some Marines and stuff, but like we saw, right, he has like a red Marine and a green Marine left, so it doesn't really add that much. He's going to poke up. I think he's just trying to figure out what is going on. Like, how many units do we see here, right? He has some mines out, so he can retreat as long as he doesn't overcommit. One of the goons he already knew had some damage on it, so maybe he can pick that off if Bisu's sloppy. But it was just a poke. That's all it is.
So he's going to be going back here. And yeah, I was a little bit surprised to see him come out like that, but I guess if he does get away, you know, those are mines you can't use later on, but just try to get any kind of read.
These are like exactly where you want them, basically, right? He's got a Vulture sitting at the regular 4th base. He's got a Vulture, I think that's a Vulture, up at 12 o'clock. Maybe it's a SCV, I'm not 100% sure, but that can watch for drops. Then he's got 3 mines in the path from Bisu's main to his main.
You're right.
And he's putting mines at expansion. So these are like exactly where you want them. And like that, like for instance, he just lost that mine. Now he knows there's going to be a Nexus here.
Yeah, he could even try to come in here and kill that probe off.
Handsome.
And that's great play. I mean, just slowing down the probe a little bit.
Great trade there.
Yep.
You want to do that every single time. If you can sacrifice a Vulture to kill a probe that's about to make a Nexus, it's good every time.
The Nexus does eventually come down. And from here, what's he going to put down there?
Citadel.
Citadel, I think, and probably go into Arbiter tech. You basically just keep making Dragoons and probes, and you tech into Arbiters, get a Forge.
The size of that looks like it might be a Stargate, my friend.
Oh.
He's doing a Stork build.
Oh, wow. Okay, I did not expect this.
Yeah, this I did not expect either. Like, the scans that you saw there from JYJ were very specific. Well, he was scanning just after 7 minutes, which means you're checking for the Citadel.
Yeah.
The Citadel should be going down around that time for the type of game this is looking like it is, but Bisu waited for scans to run out and then put down the Stargate. There's some really high-level timing stuff going on here.
So I also kind of get the carriers in this spot. Terran wants to take the 3rd on that high ground hill. You could kind of hit the main and hit that 3rd base there. And there's a bunch of area that you can have the carriers floating safely over. So I think there's some rationale to this. Now, I got to point out, though, you know, there's always a soft spot when Protoss is teching into carriers, if you know. The problem is you don't know. And
well, yeah, if he figures this out, like we'll see, because he's going to have more scans very shortly here. And we'll see where he chooses. Okay, he scanned the natural. He saw some Zealots walking, and he scans the carrier tech. This is huge. The fact that he scanned it before carriers started.
Yeah, this is like...
We're going to see him just add a bunch of factories.
Yeah. And on paper, Terran should be able to push the Protoss.
Yes.
You should be able to kill them.
Yeah, every pro-Terran in the world would probably feel good right now.
Yeah. It's totally different if you scan and you see the 3rd and 4th carrier pop out. And you go, oh my God. Then. I should have known.
So Bisu looks like he's looking to see if he can fly in and do something. That's just Zealots in there. It's not a big deal. But if your opponent is out of position, you can get a bit done.
Well, you want to buy time, is the thing. And this is also a funny situation where the Protoss actually probably does want to expand towards the Terran.
Yeah,
probably acquiring 12, because then you're kind of able to attack them and hit the other bases.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm looking at this, and he rescans the carriers, by the way, just to make sure that they're making.
Because some players will cancel that and just throw down gates.
Yeah, they'll just be like, screw it, going gateway, man. Here we go. Because if you make a bunch of Goliaths and they cancel that and just go into mass Dragoon speed Zealot, then they will actually break your army, most likely. So you have to be careful about that. But these goons just kind of slowing everything down at the third base.
So the third base is not going to be taken in that open area over in the front. Instead, it's just going to be down here to the center right at 3 o'clock. And it actually makes a lot of sense here. If you expand over there, carriers can't quite get down there.
Yeah, and just having a third gas, like on 2 gas, you can kind of fight against this build. It's a little bit tough though, because if you lose your tanks, you can't really remake them. On 3 gas, you can build as many Goliaths as you want, as many tanks as you want.
Yeah.
You will absolutely have what you need. It seems like JYJ is going pretty high economy here overall. Like he should have his 2-1 on the way right now.
I thought he was going to attack in a little bit more quickly.
Yeah,
here.
I thought he would actually just explode up to 8 facts and try to roll through them real quick.
Yeah.
Instead, he's taking like a...
He's almost embracing the carrier tech here.
Yeah. It looks like he just wants to set up a very robust 2-1 timing push rather than trying to run him over when he's on 2 carriers. Because Bisu will have 4 carriers before the attack begins.
Now, the next step here in the carrier tech, a lot of times, is you need to get Psystorm. So he's going to come in here. Now, this isn't going to do much of anything, but I think you just try to take what you can get. If they already know that there's carriers out, and, whatever. We've seen this before where you have the shuttles come in. The interceptors are soaking a lot of the turret shots, and then the shuttle just drops. You kill the turrets. You're trying to do some damage somewhere.
JRJ is really taking his time here. He made a dropship. I like that play really a lot. I was afraid he might be making a science vessel. Science vessels are actually not useful in this situation. They get targeted down first.
Yeah, they die super fast too.
Yeah, and none of their spells actually make a big difference. People are always asking like, oh, can you EMP the carriers? Generally, you're fighting interceptors, not carriers.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you can EMP them, and that's cool. And I guess if you can get your Goliaths under there, that's neat.
It's just not worth the money you're putting into the vessel, really. So that Zealot actually was a bit lucky. His spots this drop, because that drop could have done a ton of damage to the main mineral line.
Right. So we have 4 carriers out. Now 4 is when you really start to be able to actually take a fight here. But this is a style of play, where you're not trying to get... It's the carriers combined with the ground army.
Yes.
So remember, the tanks are super deadly on the ground, and the Goliaths are super deadly when fighting air units. And so what you try to do... Let's say you snipe each of the tanks with the carriers as the Goliaths come in, then your ground army comes in. Zealots and Dragoons wreck Goliaths.
Yeah.
But tanks wreck everything with splash. I mean, their splash damage is just incredible. So I really like positionally how Bisu's played this. He knows he could be a real nuisance here in the main.
Yeah, there's a lot of turrets. He's flying in with the shuttle. Okay.
Is that one Zealot he dropped out?
Yeah, it's just Zealots in this shuttle. I mean, the army's coming up, but if Bisu does something like attacks up front with his ground army, I'm going to be really sad for him. I don't think that that's a good move at all right now.
Well, he's looking for something.
Okay, now look, he's rotating down now. This is the moment.
Yeah,
bringing the carriers down to join, this becomes a very good attack.
Okay, this is a lot of siege tanks, though. Let's see. He's going to go right on top of these tanks.
A lot of the units are in the main base, but he's starting to lose a lot of Dragoons here.
Yeah.
As the units come down, he might want to back up. He's basically lost his entire ground army.
Yeah, I don't know how much he's macroing back at home. One of the things with carriers as well is that it's like mutas where you have to micro them the whole time. You can end up banking up quite a lot of money, and I don't think that attack was handled very well by Bisu. But again, he did kill a decent amount of the tanks. Protoss does have a real engine behind his production where he can keep making more units. But what about this counterattack? I mean, this is +2 attack, +1 armor.
Yeah, I would be very afraid if I was Bisu. He spent a lot of his ground army. He doesn't have anything to stall except a counter. So he's starting to counter, but his ground army cannot hold on against this. He's just...
Is this 4 carriers? Yeah, it's still 4 up here, not 6.
Oh, that's 6
no, that's
now.
6. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just worry that this ground army will just pummel all of the rest of his Nexuses here.
Well, he's definitely losing 2 Nexuses.
He's going to lose the probes here as well.
But there's a counterattack going on, right? He's bringing his units across the map, but that's a really well-defended area.
Okay, he's going to back up and he's going to try to sandwich this. Bisu really with very good decision-making, I think, considering. except for when he had that big attack earlier on where he lost his army.
Yeah, he stayed too long. Like the idea of drawing army up and then attacking with everything because the carriers rotate more quickly, the idea is good. The execution there was certainly off.
Okay.
Okay, now this is the moment. Okay, an EMP goes down on the carriers, but notice how the Goliaths are not really fighting the carriers. Maybe they can take a step forward and do that, though.
Well,
he picks off most of the tanks here.
The interceptors are beginning to thin out. I think this last tank is not going to be picked off, I guess.
Oh, that's brutal. You really need to kill that tank.
Yeah, he really needs to get that tank. It's just, okay, finally it goes down. Dragoons and Zealots can now take the rest of this fight. There's more Goliaths reinforcing here. Oh, I didn't even realize there were more tanks up there.
And it's kind of funny. You see, like, he EMP'd there, but did it actually do anything? No.
No.
Not yet. Like, maybe it'll still pay off a little bit. They haven't regained all the shields.
Oh, he's going to lose these Dragoons and Zealots again here. Again, I'm a little bit surprised we saw carrier play on this map. And you kind of see, you know, when in big open fields, the carriers are not much of a threat. They want to be, you know, perched up over these high ground areas.
Yeah, not super useful in those situations. But look, he's got this kind of area to fight from. He does pick off the Science Vessel. Oh, these Dragoons coming in is not going to really do that much. Like, he's adding a little bit of damage. Like, look at this. He's losing 5 goons to kill
now,
one Goliath.
The Goliaths are actually getting picked off here.
Yeah.
And if this is picked off, then the rest of... Oh, hold on. More Goliaths inbound here.
That's really good. Oh, he's going to pick another one off. There are a couple really highly damaged ones there as well.
Yep.
More Dragoons still coming down. Finally
nice
getting
targeting
some
on the
Zealots
tank.
in there.
Can he get that other one over there? He's going to need to do one more dive on that. And again, Goliaths cannot fight, even if it's a small number of Dragoons and Zealots. With carriers, I don't think so.
Yeah, it becomes very, very tough.
This game is not over yet.
No.
It was close. Protoss was almost killed off, but if he can get a few more ground units...
Yeah, no, he's still in it. Like, he's still got good supply. Bisu didn't lose his natural nexus, which I thought for sure he would end up losing there.
Yeah.
So he's in a slightly better position than what I thought he would be in. He's still got a lot of carriers. They haven't, like, they've taken some damage, right? He's got to be careful with them. He doesn't want to lose anymore. He is doing a counter attack right now towards the main base. A lot of times Protoss will fly in, and if the armories are in a bad spot or something, pick those off and try to snowball from there.
Yep. Now there's +3 attack, +2 armor.
Yeah,
now
those
again,
upgrades are insane.
You know, with no vultures here, the ground, it's a weaker ground army against pushes. Oh, this snipe on the Nexus is really good, actually.
Very important moment.
But look, great targeting here on these tanks.
Yeah, he gets 2 of them.
And now it's just Goliaths. Well, once that tank's killed, and it is.
And that's where the goons come back in and really fight well. The Goliaths cannot fight against this type of composition alone. They really, you need a well-balanced army as Terran, and Bisu keeps abusing that. He's doing a great job of it.
Dragoons are just much better against Goliaths. But I worry that right now Bisu is limping through this game economically, and I don't know that, you know, he can actually fight back. He's on 1 Nexus right now, mining. Terran's on 3 command centers.
Yeah. His natural is getting low, but you're definitely right about that. And look, every time Bisu attacks in, we're seeing the push out here from JYJ. And he's actually going up to the only mining base here. Now there is a pylon wall, and the carriers are on the other side.
Uh-oh. The carriers might get pinned over here. Oh, maybe not, actually.
They're really damaged at this point. They've been fighting for so long. Look at this. He's going to be able to target some down. They're all going to die, I think, Tasteless. This is not looking super good for Bisu.
Yeah, I mean, he's so close to being killed here. Well, he might be able to get that last tank.
Well, if he gets that, the goons can clean up the Goliaths, that's for sure, but he's losing every carrier.
Oh, man, yeah, there's only 1 carrier left in this game.
Yeah, without the air army, like, Terran's just going to be more cost-efficient on the ground. There's no question.
I don't know, guys. I guess Bisu is not going to advance here.
Well, it doesn't look like it.
Damn. GG. Unbelievable.
Wow. Well done by JYJ. A big victory for him. He's never gotten out of this round before.
Yeah. And to take out a player like Bisu, that's huge.
Wow. Bisu having a hard time tonight against Terran specifically. I think Leda was actually really, really impressive. This past game, the thing is, he's taking that risk, right? JYJ is scanning at the appropriate times, checking for that tech.
Yep.
And Bisu's just kind of going into carriers on a map where you can go carrier on Polypoid, but it is a bit tough, right? Those are close, those spawns, and JYJ was able to continually move over and punish him.
Yeah, I think the carrier pick was, it wasn't even Reaver into carrier, which usually protects you a little bit more.
Yeah, I think he kind of threw it a little bit when he sacked his entire army on the frontal push.
That first
you
attack
need that
was
to whittle them down and buy more time for more carriers.
That's right. That first attack was pretty rough. All right, guys. Well, it's good to have ASL back. I really enjoyed that PvZ we had earlier with the Bisu and Shine. That was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
Shine also eliminated. Our underdogs advanced.
Yeah. A couple Terrans already into the next round. Pretty sick.
Got a couple Terran crash dummies moving on, Artosis. How about that?
Look at that.
Can't believe Bisu's eliminated.
ASL 시즌 10
Okay, it's time to go to our interview. Our second player to advance is JYJ. Congratulations. Thank you so much.
오히려 사전 인터뷰 때 오늘은 정말 어디까지 떨어지나 보자 하는 마음으로 마음 편하게 임하겠다라고 또 밝혀주셨는데 이렇게 네 번째
You said you were going to go into the games with a comfortable mindset. And just see how far you can go. How do you feel now? You're in the round of 16. It's been 4 attempts for you.
어떤 것 때문에 머리가 아직도 하얗세요?
My mind is blank right now. I can't believe it. That carrier play. I was so confused.
아무래도 오늘 마지막 경기가
Even with this interview happening now, I feel like my mind is not working.
김태경 선수가 캐리어를 쌓아가는 그 시점까지 참
I guess that last match was pretty confusing for you, huh?
어려웠을 것 같아요.
It was hard to predict how the game was going to end. Honestly, I did not believe that Bisu would really go for carriers. I was only thinking about arbiters. Then all of a sudden, I confirmed that there were carriers, and it kind of freaked me out. I was worried I might get eliminated, but I just tried to keep it together and play my best, and it worked.
네, 저 솔직하게 올 줄 몰랐어요. 그래가지고 내가 가야 되는데
Throughout your games, you seemed pretty composed.
놀랬어요. 놀랬는데 상대 거 다 죽고 나니까 기분이 좋더라고요.
I didn't expect he was going to attack first. I defended well and I killed enough of his army.
정영재 선수를 승자전에서 또
As the game went by, I thought, okay, I think I actually do have the lead. I think I can handle this.
정영재 선수가 운영을 할 줄 알아서 BBS를 했다라고 또 인터뷰에서 밝혔거든요. 그때 경기 끝나고 나서 좀 무슨 생각이
What was it
드셨어요?
like when Leda did that rush against you? He did that all in, and it broke you.
욕했죠.
Tell us about that match. I was swearing a lot in that game, to be honest with you. I couldn't even think about.
앞마당에서
I was just so stunned when he actually rushed me like that. I wasn't ready.
큰일 났다 이 생각했죠.
And at the moment I scouted the natural, I thought, oh, something bad is going on here.
그래도 이렇게 그래도 네 번의 도전이 헛되지만은 않았다라는 걸 또 경험으로 이렇게 녹여냈습니다.
But after those 4 attempts,
심리전도 참 쉽진 않았잖아요.
it looks like you've garnered enough experience. You've managed to advance.
막기가 참 어려웠을 것 같은데 그땐 좀 어떠셨어요?
Tell us a little bit about that match against Shine.
오히려 고마웠어요. 이 맵이 여건덕이기 때문에 그거는 약간 제 생각이.
I'm actually thankful that Shine went for a play like that. I didn't expect it, but yeah, I'm glad he tried to Hydra bust me. So I knew in that position I should be able to defend this easily and get an advantage from there. So now we can see JYJ in the round of 16. You're going to be doing a lot of prep for this. Yep, I just moved into a new place as well.
아무래도 정영재 선수의 도전이 좀 길었기 때문에 16강 진출.
Yeah, I don't have any other distractions in my life. I'm finished with my move and I'm ready to just focus. I'm sure there's a lot of fans who would love to hear what you have to say. Is there anything you want to say to them now? First of all, I still don't know what to say.
저를 위한 조는 아니었던 것 같은데 이렇게 저를 위한 조가 됐네요. 제가 올라가게 됐는데
I don't think this group was
네, 이번 ASL 시즌10 정영재 선수의 도전이 계속
It seems like this group was made perfectly for me to advance to the round of 16. I'm going to show some great games in the round of 16, so please cheer for me. What a day, guys. Bisu eliminated immediately.
Yeah, round of 24.
Bad day for IR.
Where are you, Lays?
Leda and JYJ advance?
Kind of sick to have some Terrans doing well here that don't normally do well. That is exciting. I thought Leda, for me tonight, Leda's play against Bisu was my big surprise in a lot of ways. It was just a very solid, well thought out approach that was not within his normal parameters for choosing builds. He did not really take risks. He did something extremely solid. And executed it nearly perfectly.
Yeah. Great games. So guys, we do not have ASL on Tuesday, but after this week, we're going to have our more regular schedule. The next ASL will actually be on Saturday at 7 p.m., and that's the same day we have the GSL. And this is all on the same channel now on YouTube. So you can watch GSL, leave the stream open, and we're going to be on later on that night. And then the very following day, we're going to be back with Sunday. And then Tuesday, and then it's going to be every Sunday, Tuesday from there on out. We are also hosting GSL Code S right now. That is every Wednesday night and Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, a lot of StarCraft going on right now, so definitely do check that out. These groups are just fantastic. Can't wait for Group B, man. That is a great group. Snow is actually kind of my pick for the season, to be honest. I think Snow is so good right now.
He's so strong.
He's been so strong for many seasons, but I feel like he's even coming to his own more.
Oh, I totally agree. And remember, when we get to the round of 16, this is the first tournament where Flash is playing random.
Yeah.
That is so hype.
It really is. It's going to be very weird to watch. I can't wait. I don't know what's going to happen. A lot of people are just thinking he's going to lose.
That's me. I'm thinking he's probably going to lose. Maybe he'll advance to the round of 8, but I don't imagine him. If he wins with random, it'll be the craziest thing that's ever happened in gaming.
Yeah, pretty much.
It'll be insane.
It won't even make sense.
But I don't think he's going to do it.
It would just.
I think we're years away from that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It could happen though.
It could happen.
Yeah, he is ridiculously good. So we'll see about that. But yeah, it's very fun. I'm so happy to have ASL back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
It's too long without ASL. Months.
We need like 12 ASL seasons a year. They need to be overlapping and stuff.
I agree.
It needs to just be too much even. Wouldn't be enough, you know?
Well, it's such a long period of downtime for us. You know, GSL is a little bit more consistent, but ASL, only 2 seasons, man.
Yeah, not too much. But guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you spread the word for us because ASL is back, and it is going to be awesome.
Yes. And hopefully, when we finally beat coronavirus, you can come see our new studio. I'm sure you saw the shots in between the games. The location's awesome. Our setup here is so cool, and we're continuing to improve it. Yeah. Come to Korea once the virus is beaten.
Yeah. Who knows when that will be.
Nobody is traveling right now. So
no, not very much.
Everybody's pretty travel starved.
I want to see people.
Me too.
I want to travel myself.
Me too.
Everyone does.
I'll be streaming tomorrow, some StarCraft 1, if you guys want to hang out on my Twitch stream.
Yeah,
You'll be doing that too. You stream a little bit earlier than me in the day.
That's right.
So hang out with Artosis and then come to Tasteless. And I don't think we have anything else to say, but
no, I think that's
we've
about
not
it.
been told to close the show out yet. So,
all right.
The Korean casters have a lot to say, Artosis.
Yeah, I guess. Well, Bisu did get eliminated, right? It is a big
Well,
story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of bummed out, actually. I was looking forward to cheering for him going through the tournament.
He needs
but
to fix his PVT a bit.
Yeah, he needs to upgrade that. Guys, we are allowed to go. We love you. Take care. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Bye-bye.
타임리스.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, 다들 하질 뻔한 이야기, her brain fried. My lady poppin' Zenny, other lady popping Molly, why she waiting on me? 여긴 나의 area, 여긴 my area. Keep on heading if you want, I drive it like you know. I don't wanna hear you, 지겹잖아 이제 넌 like I'm Bango, cutting my